Good morning, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? I'm sure we're happy. So, what a day we had in silver yesterday. Not only did it break 100, it went all the way to 103, and there's really nothing stopping it. You got to be nuts to short it. The companies need it, so they're afraid they can't make a car without it, so they'll pay anything. And they don't need inventory of silver like this year. They need it next year also, because the way silver is running, we're going to see, $1,000. Well, we'll see. Let's say $500 silver. So if they have any intelligence, if they understand anything, which I doubt they do, they'd be buying silver for the next few years at this cheap price of 100, as opposed to paying 1,000 for it. Now I don't know how much they really use. It's not like they're using a ton, to make an Apple phone or to make these solar panels or batteries or electronic, whatever. It's not a lot. The military, yeah, they put 500 ounces in a Tomahawk missile. What a waste of silver, huh? But there's no substitute for it. Mr. Wonderful is fucking clueless. Oh, they'll just make some. They'll use copper instead. No, they can't. This is the point, Sherlock. Have to. They have to use silver. It's the best resistance for the electronics and everything. And we use it because it's. Sorry, my glasses are a little. Even though I just cleaned them, they still need another cleaning. So in Detroit, we're at minus 17, and with the wind chill, we're minus 30. So I'm only going out to go to the pool, and it's just a quick. I really want to drive the car. I don't want it to sit in cold weather for 2 or 3 days not started. So I'm really going to go to start the car in this weather, and then and go from. So as long as I can start it, drive it to the club, then I'll be fine. I don't know what's going on in Russia. I haven't heard from Daria on Telegram. Our WhatsApp's kind of cut off, and then on Telegram, all my messages are going. She's not receiving them, and I know Putin was going to do something with. He did something with WhatsApp. He's supposed to do something with Telegram, and they're having internet problems there because they. I think the Americans or the British are like, pulling stuff off the internet. So to be coy, Russia's, getting stopping the internet use or something. I don't know, but I haven't heard from her for a week, so I'm a little worried. Hopefully, we'll get an email from her. I emailed her to see, but it's not like her to not talk to me for a week. But I know it's that. So anyway, we'll see. Jenna's in Germany. It's -2 there. So this is like a worldwide winter. I wonder if it's Putin or who's doing the U.S. or British who's doing this. We will find out. But anyway, back to silver. So silver 103.30. It was up $7 yesterday, and it's the middle of the month. It's not going anywhere but up. People who think it's you don't profit take. We've talked about that. You certainly don't want to. It's certainly not going to go down because of what? Everybody needs it. It's very limited. And keep in mind, this is paper silver. So physical silver has got to be $1,000 now if the paper is 103. the physical, let's say it's 750. Because again, there's with these paper contracts, they're 5,000 contracts. You're not buying 5,000. Now they're trying to do these stupid margin calls, which I don't think it's really to get the price down. I just think it's because the price is going up. People can't afford it. Just like a stock. If you buy a stock at 100 and it goes down to, let's say, 80, you're going to get a margin call because you bought the stock with 10% or 20%. No, you didn't at $100 and you bought 100 shares, you didn't give them $10,000. You probably gave them 2,000. You went on margin for the other 8. Very, very risky. I would never recommend it. I would never do it. I never have, and I never will. And I don't play stocks. When I buy silver, I buy silver. How much is it? Here you go. Here's your full amount. So basically, the margin calls are just because it keeps going up. It's really not to get the price down. It's because they're worried they're not going to get paid because it's going up too high, and these idiots are shorting it. So you end up, concerned that they won't be able to pay the contract off. So it's a normal thing. And like I said, in stocks, the price goes down, there's a margin call. You gotta keep like 40 or 50% margin. And so the stock's lower, you need more. You've lost money. Good morning, Nick. Can't wait to buy more after we win this weekend. Yeah, I just keep buying and buying and buying. I was listening to Clive Thompson or whatever, one of the British guys. And he's saying, "Oh, don't do anything." Again, he's clueless. He's looking at charts, so I turn him off as soon as he does that. But really, it's just going to keep going because it's A, it's limited, and B, there's huge demand. And not only they just look at the industrial usage. They don't understand it's also money, and it's also as the inflation. If you really understand inflation, it's not 3 or 4 or 5%. It's thousands of a percent. If it's even measured, it's really not measured. You've just printed too much shit, too many dollars printed by every country, so the money's worthless. So you got to do your Rumpelstiltskin and turn the money into gold and silver. So the demand's huge from both sides of the aisle. The Microsofts and the Apples and the and people like us who are like, I got to get out of dollars, as it's going to zero. So that's what they don't understand. So that's why it's just keep buying and buying and buying. Gold, we're like $49.90. I don't really know why it went up 50. It was up $78 yesterday, and I really don't know why it didn't break 5,000. I would expect it to break 5,000 on Monday. Sunday night, the Chinese get it, and they'll probably break 5,000 with it. It's funny how these psychological barriers, like 3,000 and then 4,000, it kind of goes up to, $39.99 and it goes back and then finally breaks 4. Look how quick we went from 4,000 to 5,000. I was looking at a text that I sent Daria somewhere in here. Huh. Well, maybe I didn't. It was like November, and it was like November, and silver was $52 an ounce, and gold was 4,200. This is like November. We're only in January, and so gold went from 4,200 to basically 5,000, and silver went from $52, 52, to now it's 103. So it's doubled in 2 months. Probably not even. So I would say here comes 125, and China it's selling for 115. So it's selling for one, it'll jump now that it broke 100. It goes to one and a quarter. It goes to 150, 200. We could be 200 by next Friday. And there's no way back. It's just up. It's just huge demand, and the supply isn't going to change. There is no supply. It's very, very limited. The mines can't produce anymore because there's really not silver mines because the idiots, JP Morgan, keeping the price down, you kept miners out. We own a mine. It's going to cost us $50 an ounce to open the mine and dig it out and then process everything. Pay our workers, so let's say it's $50 an ounce. But I can only get $20 an ounce if I sell it. I mean, 2 years ago, right? So you've kept all the miners from mining. The only way you get silver is in a copper mine, and a nickel mine, and a gold mine. You just happen to find it with the other materials. That's where you're getting your silver. So there really isn't a silver mine mining. Maybe now they start opening up, but that's going to take years until they finally start producing. And even then, maybe they produce 2 or 3 tons. There's far more demand than 2 or 3 tons, right? The central banks would eat that up. China would eat that up, and Russia. So it's not like it's going to skew anything. So the demand being very, very, the supply being very, very small, and the demand is huge because it's not only us, it's companies who need it to build their product, and they'll pay whatever for it. They have to have it. There is no substitute. So we'll keep that in mind. So it's just a bye-bye. It's going till there's a price when it's all bought up, and there's no more demand. The demand won't pay it. And I don't know what that price is. It's way up here, and we're way down here. So I don't know what that price is. 5,000, 10,000. I don't see there's a price because the industrial world will always need it. The military, the Apples, the Samsungs, they'll always need silver. There's no substitute. And so therefore, no matter what the price goes to, they'll be buying it. We'll be buying it to get out of the dollars. So what price would it be? $5,000 silver? I'll still be buying it. And God knows what gold will be at that point, right? Gold will be 25,000. So I've been asked by many people here and other people, well, where's gold going? How high is it going? And I said, well, it probably won't go to 100,000 because by that point, there won't be dollars to price it in dollars anymore. Meaning the dollar will be gone by then because there'll be no faith and trust in the dollar. So gold then becomes the money. And I don't know what you value gold in. I don't know if there is a value for it. It'll be, 2 ounces of gold to buy the house. So what's the value of the gold, right? I don't know how you do it without dollars. And that's going to be the problem with stocks. What's my stock worth? Well, there is no dollars to value it in. So it's either valued in gold or however they're going to put their value on their balance sheet and their income statement to say, well, this is how much. Or no, I can't count my fiat money. And unless they have gold, they're basically, all the companies will go broke because they won't have, the money will be worthless. And therefore, how does a company work if they're using dollars and the dollar's worthless? So they'll have to get BRICS currency, right? To use. Well, we need a new currency that comes out. So gold, I don't think we'll ever hit 100,000. By then, it'll be worth 100,000, whatever that means. But gold will have a huge value, and silver, and it doesn't need the dollar, unlike Bitcoin, which needs the dollar. Bitcoin's valued in dollars. When the dollar goes away, Bitcoin goes to zero, and there is no value for Bitcoin because it's not real. And that's the argument that I would tell the Bitcoin companies, no, fellas, there is no value. When the dollar goes out, there is no Bitcoin value because it's not real. Well, we'll price Bitcoin in Bitcoin. No, you're pricing it in dollars. Same thing with stablecoin. You're pricing it in U.S. dollars, which has no value. I know Trump talks. Oh, we got the greatest economy. Well, what's he supposed to say? Yeah, our economy sucks, and we're in deep trouble, right? He can't say that, so he says, "Oh, look how good our economy is." And it's not good. I mean, it's this guy's. This is the problem with government. It's a fantasy. That's why I don't believe half the shit. We never went to the moon. 9/11 was an attack by the Israelis to steal the gold. JFK was shot by I think the CIA. Uh, the conspiracy theory. What does that mean? If you disagree with the government, it's a conspiracy. Well, you don't know because you don't have that information. It's like bullshit. I know 9/11 was a gold robbery. That was obvious. I know that the buildings were imploded. That was how you could see the white smoke every floor. The building wasn't made to collapse like that. It was made to withstand 100-mile-an-hour winds. Not a little plane that because the gas couldn't be hot enough to melt anything, and certainly would melt maybe one floor, and that would not cause the whole thing to come down. It would only go down one floor because it had a bunch of steel in between floors in case that did happen. So oh, that was a demolition, but I'm supposed to believe the government, and where was the F-18s when the second plane hit? Yeah, they're on their lunch hour. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I don't believe anything the government says. It's all bullshit. And I love I don't want to cause a panic. We can't tell them there's going to be an earthquake. It would cause panic, and we don't want that. Excuse me. All right. So anyway, big day, breaking 100 on the silver. And then the gold, this far from 5,000, which it should hit it next week. And happy days. So basically, we can retire soon. So you ask, how much money do you need to retire? Well, if it's in gold and silver, I mean, you're probably fine with the 100 grand because it's gold and silver. It'll keep going up. So the 100 goes to 2, and then it goes to 3, where your dollar goes from 300,000 to 200 to 100 to 0. So that's why you can't retire with dollars, and that's why you can't retire with stocks priced in dollars or Bitcoin priced in dollars. You can't retire with any of that crap. So when I hear these retirement guys on the radio, when I go to swim on the weekends, they're all full of shit. Well, put your money in stocks and worry about your tax. How are you going to pay your taxes? Just put it in gold. You have no tax to worry about, and it's only going to go up. I mean, this is like the find of the century here. I mean, COVAX, we can get mad at it for keeping the price down, but it allowed us to buy a bunch of gold and silver at cheap prices. And now it's starting to rise. But can you imagine if there was no COVAX and now we tried to buy gold, it'd be 20,000 an ounce. We maybe would have bought 2-3 ounces of it. And silver would have easily have been 1,000 an ounce. So at that ridiculously low price of $25 that I bought a bunch of silver at, and the gold at I showed you 1,900, which was so it was like 1,800, has kept it low, has allowed us to buy. And now the shit's off the fan, and here we go with high price. The prices are finally going. But again, as I say, the reason is BRICS. That was the variable that changed. And everything's priced on demand, not on the dollar going down. The dollar going down, which is called inflation, alligator, is why we're buying the gold and silver. But it doesn't make the price go up. Price going up is demand. Clearly demand. Yes, there's a lot of demand. Pat said in Singapore, they're waiting 6 hours for it. And now they don't even think they can get any more gold or I don't know about silver in the stores in Singapore. So now what happens? Well, I need it, so I will pay more. So then the price goes up higher and higher. and then people will start selling. So what's happening is it's been all of it's been into people now. Nothing's wrong with the gold or silver as far as it's been destroyed. Well, some of the silver with the wars get destroyed in the weapons, but let's just say gold. None of the gold's gone. It's just people have it. The banks have the bars, we have the coins, and that's it. And there's no more to find. So now you raise the price, and then we start, hey, I'm gonna sell and take some profit like that. I mean, that's what happens to 99% of the people. As the price goes up, they go, oh, I'll sell it. Not us. We don't sell it because the price goes up. We just celebrate. Oh, now my gold's worth, $20,000. So look how quickly it went. I think it was December 13th. Gold was 4,200. It is now 1 month later. It is now up $800 in 1 month. So as we break 5,000, I don't think it's going to be long to go to 6, to go to 7, to go to 8. I think now that it's moving, it's just going to keep running. Because again, this is paper gold. This is you gotta do it. So people will keep wanting gold. And as it gets more limited and harder to find, the price just keeps going up. The price goes up because there's more buyers. Like I say, well, let's take this. Let's say there's 100 buyers for my one 2-ounce maple leaf, right? There's 100 buyers. So one guy gets it at $206 because this is a 2-ouncer. See how thick it is? So one guy gets it for $206. Okay, then, but wait, there's 90 other people who want it. Well, I'll pay you $210 for it. I'll pay you $220, and we get a nice little bidding war. That's what happens in the real world in the free market. I'll pay you $300 for it. I have to have it. I have to get out of my dollars that are worthless, and I have to get it. So the price keeps going up. Oh, I'll pay you $400 for it because I need it. And of the 100 people, they all need it, and that's why they want to buy it, and they have to have it, so they'll pay more for it. It's like Octopussy, the James Bond movie, where he's at the auction with the egg, the Fabergé egg, and Bond keeps bidding it up, and the guy had to buy it, so he paid $500,000 for something that should get $300,000. Same thing here. Same thing with the Mantle card. You get a PSA 9 Mantle rookie, you're going to have 100 people wanting that card. And you put it on auction, and that bidding is going to go higher and higher. And I got to have it. I've never seen one before. Boom, boom, boom. What am I going to lose my power? If I lose my power, if something happens, I will come back on. I'll do part 2. I can't control what's going on with my electricity or my internet. So we will see. Hopefully it won't bomb out on me. So that's what happens. So when you have high demand, as we do, everybody wants one. They want it because it's my precious, right? Just like Gollum. They want it, so they'll pay more for it. The only reason it's at 100 is because Comex put it there, not the market. So as we're hearing from Pat in Singapore, if I'm running that store and I got a line out the door, I got a 5-hour wait to get to the front, my prices are coming up a lot. No. My price is not 100 for silver. It's 200. And I got people going out the door willing to wait 4 hours for it. Believe me, they'll pay more for it because they have to have it. And the gold would be probably 5,500, 6,000. Not for, like, it was 40. Well, let's say it's 5,000, 49.90. They'll easily pay 5,500, 6,000 because they have to have it, and it's limited, and they know it's limited. Anybody buying gold and silver knows it's limited and can't be printed. That's the object versus the dollar. I see Eon's been watching again because he used that argument going, well, dollars can be printed and gold can't. And that's what I always say. You can't print gold. And he's never said that before. So all of a sudden he's listening. And I taught him that inflation is not prices going up. It's you're inflating the money supply, making it work, killing the value. That's basically what you're doing. So with that said, uh, why is the price? It's a paper price. The paper price says silver is 103. The physical price, as I say, is probably $1,000. So in other words, if I'm at the store in Singapore and I want to sell it for, um, if we didn't have Comex, I'd be like, well, I'll sell it for 500. So the way you figure it out is, let's see if I can sell it for 500. Let's see what I can sell it for. I'll put it out for 300. Nobody blinks an eye. I'll put it at 400. Nobody blinks an eye. I'll put it at 600. Nobody blinks. Everybody keeps buying it because you have to have it, especially these companies, Samsung and Apple and those and the military. They have to have it. You're building a $1 million tank or $1 billion airplane. You're not going to, and you need the silver for the electronics. So of course you're going to do it, and you can't substitute. I love when people come out. That's why I've been showing you these idiot things. The idiots sound confident. Mr. Wonderful sounds confident. Oh, they're not sitting around crying. They'll just go to copper or nickel or something else. No, you can't. He doesn't understand that. He doesn't understand how stupid he looks, but he's confident. So he hasn't done his homework, realizing there is no substitute for silver for the electronics or for the solar panels. You can't use copper. You have to use silver. So he doesn't even understand, which makes me I can't even listen to an idiot like that. But because he sounds smart and he sounds confident, you think he knows what he's talking about. But people who actually understand and know he's phony. And that's why I say it. So I know some people like him, and I'm like, guy's an idiot. That's why I get off on like Peter Schiff and Rickards and those guys. When you listen to them, Andy Schachman, they're idiots. They don't know what inflation is. We can print as much money as we can. We can't. You can't print as much money as you want. That's why the value is going down. That's why everything at the grocery store is more expensive, because they need more money they got to pay for their tuna, the Oreo cookies. So they need more money because the money they're getting is worth nothing. And I'm sure they probably go and buy gold and silver too. At least they should be. If I'm Nabisco or whoever Oreo is now, once a month I'd be buying a shitload of gold and getting out of dollars on my balance sheet. Hi, Behold, how are you today? The crowd pleaser. Well, I'm just telling you the way it is. Jesse the Buddy, telling you the truth, educating you so you can go out and know what the hell you're doing. But yeah, we've got very, very happy with silver. It jumped to 100, then it went down, then it went over 100 again, and I think I wrote it on here. And then later on, I watched it go 102. Oh, great. And then 103. And I mean, it just jumped. China gets it tomorrow night at about 5:30. China takes the ball, and I would imagine it would just keep going to the roof. Even the U.S. was buying yesterday. So the U.S. must need it. Everybody needs it. All the companies need it. So they're trying to buy it. And once we break COMEX, which is watered down paper prices, we'll get real physical. And as I'm using that Pat's store in Singapore as an example, if I got 100 people wanting this, I'm gonna sell it for more. I'm not gonna pay attention to COMEX. I want 200 for it. 200 an ounce. There's 2 ounces. I want 200 and I want 400 for this. And I'll get it because there's demand for it. And then I'll go, well, I want 600 for it because there's 2 ounces, and I'll get that. And at what point when I get it is the high point. But I probably could get 600 for this with all the demand for silver. And that's the point of it. At what point does it match? But they're still looking at the COMEX price as if it's a physical price, and it's not. It's maybe 5% physical and 95% paper, right? It's all of the margins. It's all 5,000 contracts of silver that they don't have. So I don't know why COMEX is even still existing. Um, I don't know if pensions or life insurance are buying it. They're shorting it because people are so confused now. They think the price is going to come down as if it's a stock that got overvalued. This is not a bubble. This is nowhere near what the real price of gold and silver should be. This $100 price of silver is nothing. It's like this. The real price is here. We're here. So what is this real price? It's not 100. So there's no worry it's going to drop. It might drop a little, but again, who's profit taking it and who's stupid enough to short it? People are getting killed on the shorts because it keeps going up. Well, I'll short it at 90 because it jumped up, and then it goes to 100, and then everybody who shorted it at 90 lost their ass. They'll do margin calls but because the price is going up and the people are in margin have to pay it off. Anybody stupid enough to play margin has to have their head examined. It's the dumbest play you can make, especially now to short gold and silver. You've got to be an illiterate idiot. You cannot have a brain in your head. And I don't understand how these finance people are so stupid that they're shorting the most desirable assets thanks to the dollar collapsing. But how many people know the dollar's collapsed and we're buying gold and silver for that? Probably us in this class. I mean, maybe 100 other people know that the dollar's worthless and you need to buy gold and silver. How many people are even realizing that? And that's the key. And that's why it's just going to keep going. You might get a little pullback, but I doubt it Monday. Maybe you get one on Tuesday or Wednesday. A little shorting, but that's about it. It's pretty stupid. And that's it. I mean, it's just go, go, go. I think we'll see 150 before we see 90. I don't think we'll see 90. I think it broke 100, and here we go. So I'd like to think we get about 115 by next Friday, on to about 150 by middle of February, and $40-$50 a month. And then hopefully we start seeing days where it goes up $10, $20. Not this, it went up $7 yesterday. Oh, it went up 10 cents, 20 cents. No. Gold goes up $50, $60. I think it went up $70 yesterday. Why doesn't silver do that? That's the big question. Silver I think we'll start doing that because we got to get to 1,000. So we can't get $7 days. We got to get $70 days. Once that happens, then we're gold. It's not. People think it's volatile. It's not volatile. The physical is not volatile. The physical is not volatile at all. Just the paper. Just because somebody comes in and shorts it, is it volatile? Because it's a big short. Why are you shorting? But you notice after the short, it goes up, right? Then the buying comes in. Like it went down over Christmas. Silver went down to $71. And it's not even been a month. It's gone up $30 from the short. So the shorts paid with the margin call, and then everybody came in and bought it. And I just don't know how much supply is left. There cannot be a lot of supply of silver left. Because right now, Russia, China are eating it up, putting it in like Putin's swimming pool and Xi's swimming pool. It isn't, whatever they can get, they're buying and they're putting it in their banks or their pools. And Putin's got a gold trade. He's got gold houses. He knows what's going on. Yeah, he's the man. So that's what we have with that. So it's just going to go up. Just keep buying it. The demand far outweighs the supply, so it's only going to go up. Yeah, I know COMEX plays these paper games, but nobody's shorting because they got to cover. And where are they going to get the silver from? They can't find the silver to short it with, right? So if they short it and somebody says, okay, I want to take delivery of the silver, they can't find it. There isn't enough out there. Everything's gone. And as Pat said in Singapore, they're running out of inventory. You can't even. He said, "Well, maybe they can order." And he says, "I wouldn't think we'd be getting any more supply in." or it's going to take a while till we get more gold and silver in. That means there is no gold and silver out there to buy. So if you short it, you got to get called on it. You'll never find it to deliver, and your margin call is going to eat you alive because you're playing. I'll pay 10%. I'll pay $100 for $1,000 contract. Now you need the other 900. And where are you going to get that? If you had it, you wouldn't be doing on margin. So I don't think anybody's stupid enough right now to short it. All right. Page 2. Let's go to football. Here it's minus 15 with a wind chill of approximately minus 37. It's fucking cold out. Let's check the NFL weather, and then we'll go to the lines. The lines haven't changed. The weather, New England and Denver. Now, Denver just misses this snowstorm, which is from Texas to New York, but it's a little under. It's under Denver because Denver's up on top of Texas. A chance of snow before 11. Partly cloudy with a low around 4. Wind chill values as low as minus 7. Northwest to wind around 7 with gust 17. Chance of snow 30%. New snow of less. So we're not looking at snow. We're not looking at wind. I love how they call the wind chill feels like. So at kickoff, it's 11 with 9-mile-an-hour winds. Second quarter is 14 with 7-mile-an-hour winds. Third quarter, 14 with 7-mile-an-hour winds. And the fourth quarter, 11 with 5-mile-an-hour. So it's actually not too bad if it feels like 14 and it feels like, so it's 15 degrees and light wind. Chance of snow, we don't care about that. That will not affect the game. Now, New England plays in cold weather. Denver probably hasn't played in as much cold weather because it's been pretty warm in Denver, but they should be fine with it. I'm sure they're practicing outdoors to get used to it. So cold, but not too cold. It's not like Chicago where it was 0. It's funny how these handicappers forgot about wind chill. Oh, it's going to be 15 in Chicago. And I'm like, no, it's going to be 0 in Chicago. The Rams play Chicago. It wasn't 0 weather, right? Now in Seattle, 38 and 0 wind and mostly cloudy. We're not getting rain or elements. Second quarter, 37 and no wind, 36 and no wind, and 35 and no. So you have a game, a clear day with no wind, and 36. So that'll be mild, very mild for these teams. And so, yeah, the over looks really good. So our free pick, the over. Let's check the line just to make sure if it's moved. So we've got New England 4.5 and 43. So can you believe the line is going up in the New England Denver game? It's crazy. The 43 should be going down with the weather. 4, so money's going on Denver, but let's check scores and odds. And we still have Seattle 2.5, 46.5. That really hasn't moved. The free play is over. Go over 46.5. So you go to over 40. You can play it with the Rams getting 8.5. I got the Rams winning 27-24. People talk about, it's the great Seattle defense. People are missing the point. It's like gold and silver. There's very, very high demand and very, very low supply of gold and silver. Here, the defense has been good against, Arizona or the Niners who are banged up, or Carolina. The Rams put up, it was 30-30 at the end of the game, and then it went to overtime, right? that other day. So you are not this great defense. Again, there's the NFL is split in two. You have the real good teams and you have the real sucky teams. So when you look at Seattle's great defense, yeah, but not against the Rams. So if they didn't have a great defense, the Rams should be able to score on them. That's the point. So they have a great defense against Carolina and the banged up Niners. Hardly, but you're facing Stafford. He's going to light you up. He lit you up already for 30, I think 37 points. So he's there. You're not stopping him. Your defense is okay against weak teams, the JETSs, right? If you played the Bears, you wouldn't. They would get a lot more. They'd probably get into the 30s on you. So that's the point. It's not really all that. It's all that against weak teams, but not all that against. I think Kansas City really got screwed this year. They had the real hard schedule. And if you notice, teams with the hard schedule didn't make the playoffs. Detroit and Kansas City had to play all these tough games. The Philadelphia, the Baltimore, the Buffalo. Baltimore didn't make the playoffs. They had the hard schedule. Buffalo barely got in. So this whole easy schedule hard. Now, New England, they didn't play anybody. They played Buffalo. That was theirs in a Baltimore game. That was it. They didn't play anybody. So it's really now Denver did. They had to play KC twice, San Diego twice. They went to Philadelphia. So they had a pretty hard schedule. And Seattle did not have a hard schedule. And the Rams maybe had somewhat of a hard schedule. Yeah, they had to play some hard teams. But really, you wiped out Kansas City and Philadelphia with the schedule. Kansas City's a lot better than, well, let's see here. Well, pretty much Kansas City's a lot better than what? Carolina. Well, let's look at the AFC. KC did lose to Jacksonville. They're obviously better than San Diego, probably better than New England. They did lose to Houston. I'm sure they're better than Pitt. And they lost to Buffalo and Denver. They lost to also. So KC should have definitely made the playoffs. Philly did make the playoffs, even though they had the hard schedule, but they sucked. So again, it's the scheduling is terrible. You're getting the wrong teams in there. You should never have gotten San Diego, and you should never have gotten, well, Pitt. Somebody had to. But if Baltimore and Pitt had the same schedule, Baltimore would have. But they had, Lamar, so they're handicapped. Anyway, let's go to scores and odds and see what the real lines are. It's a serious problem with the scores and odds site. All right, scores and odds. New England 4, 4.5, 3.5. All right. Fours, a couple of 4.5s and a 3.5. So I would still call this 4.5 for our purposes. 3.5 if you want New England, 4.5 if you want Denver. And our total 43s, a couple of 42.5s, a couple of 42.5s, and a bunch of 43s. So in our case, Yeah, 42 and a half is fine. So why the line's going up in the cold when the line should be going down? Now, I do agree that it's a high scoring game uh, because I think Denver's defense isn't that strong. And New England seems to score with Drake May or the plays. Pretty good defense. She probably has some defensive touchdowns. But Denver's defense isn't all that. That's why I'm a little leery to take Denver as much as I'm taking the over here. Well, let's other game. So we got Seattle 2.5. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at 7, 8 different casinos. I don't want to just rely on one. All right, 2.5. All right, every casino's got Seattle minus 2.5. And the total, there's a 45.5, 46.5, some 45.5, some 46, some 46.5. So I think this is a joke and it's incorrect. I am going over. This should be going up to 48, 49. So we're getting a bargain at 46 and we can go over 40. There's even one 45.5. You can go over 39.5. That's a steal. You're not stopping Stafford. No. This isn't the steel curtain. Mel Blount and Joe Green aren't playing, right? So Seattle, while it's good and they look good against San Francisco and Carolina, who have no offense, not against the Rams. Like I said, it really said a lot for the Rams to win in 0-degree weather in Chicago, and they put up 20. So it wasn't so they're getting mentally tough by getting that win. So that's that's where I'm at with them, and so they'll be mentally tough against Seattle. Seattle, this will be a very tight game, and you can just as easily take the Rams in 8.5 as you can take the game over, but the free picks over. And we only have the two games, so I think both games go over, and I think the Rams are certainly live dog, probably win the game outright. Denver, New England. Drake May going on the road in a playoff game, and he's never done it before, and he didn't do anything in college. I got to look at Drake May choking, and then we got Stidham, who we have no idea. And the only thing we have on Stidham is he played in the SEC at Auburn, and he had to play Alabama and Georgia and LSU, for the couple of years he was there, which are far better than most pro teams. So if he survived all that, and then he was 18-5 his senior year, touchdowns to interceptions. He doesn't throw the ball away too much. I think Sean Payton will call in the right plays and will move the ball. So that's what I see. So I got 27-24 LA. I don't really have a score for New England, Denver. I'm thinking like a 23-21, 20, 23-20. Maybe New England gets 26-24. You could get there over. I'm in it over 35, I think, or 35.5. As soon as I see, I already know the game. As soon as I see the game, I know what I'm going to do with it. And when I see a low line, I go bet it. I don't wait till closing line. Some guy told me about this closing line value, and I said, explain it. He said, well, read it. I told him to fuck off. Don't tell me to read it. I don't even know what it is, nor do I care because I don't wait for the closing line to make a bet. If I did, I'd be laying more points. With Seattle, I'd be at 43, and I'm at 41 with it. So I'm at 35 instead of 37. I know I'm going over. I don't really give a fuck what the closing value line is, and it doesn't mean anything. As I said, formulas don't work, and that's what it sounds like. So this guy's trying to do statistic football, and I just tell him to fuck off. It's stupid. It doesn't work. I know it doesn't work. Oh, it does work. No, it doesn't. He says, "Well, can you pick 10 games a week?" I go, "Every week. I pick 10 winners every week, like clockwork." Oh, some losers, of course. I'm not saying I go 10-0, but you know, I have a lot of 10-1, 10-2 weeks, 10-3, 9-4. A bad week for me is 7-8. So that's what you have. Again, we'll go through New England, an A team with a 13 defense. But they played Houston, who doesn't score a lot, and they played San Diego, who doesn't score a lot. Denver, we don't know what they'll do. They are a B team with a 21 defense, but instead of Bo Nix, they got Stidham. Stidham is not better than Bo Nix. I don't understand people who don't like Bo Nix. I just laugh at them going, they're idiots. They're like Jim Rickards. Oh, you can print all you want. It doesn't matter. Bo Nix is a very good quarterback. He's not the problem. I'd rather have him than Caleb or Drake May or any of these losers. So New England, an 18, 13 defense. Drake May, 18-1 in a teaser. Denver, a B team, 21 defense, but with Stidham. So we got to throw the stats out because it's an unknown now. If Stidham was there and they were 17-1 and 33-3 the last 2 years, then we would say that. But that's what Bo Nix's record is. So you really don't like Bo Nix. He wins you money. He's 33-3 in 2 years. What don't you like about him? Which is why we bet teasers. Denver's also 17-1 at home. Where are they? At home. It's cold. It won't affect Denver. So I got about 11 degrees now there. May against Stidham. May's okay. He's not. Everybody gets so excited when he completes a pass down the field, just like Jared Goff. Jared Goff hits St. Thomas across the middle. Everybody, oh, look how good a quarterback is. He threw a complete pass. Nobody's saying Goff isn't accurate. What we're saying is Goff's a choke. He can't win the big game. And no, beating Tampa in the playoffs was not a big game. That was at home against a weak team. A big game was at San Francisco. A big game was at Philadelphia. The Green Bay games. Those are big games he didn't win. He needed to beat Pitt and Minnesota at the end of the year. He couldn't beat Brausmer. He threw 5 picks against Minnesota. He couldn't read a blitz. He's a choke. That's what he is. You get that with Darnold also. Watch the Rams blitz. Darnell, watch him throw 3 picks. Watch Stafford throw 4 touchdown passes against this great defense. So, again, I'm looking at about a 26-24 game, 26-23, somewhere. Denver's defense isn't all that. Drake may probably be able to run, and Denver's defense gave up 30-something to the Giants. So this is not the Orange Crush with Tom Jackson. So keep an eye on that. The other game, we got the Rams, a B team with the 26 defense, last 5, and Stafford. And Seattle, an A team with the 14 defense, last 5, 2 Niner games and a Carolina game. And Darnell. Darnell's a choke. Never won a big game either. See, we don't care that he can complete passes. We care, can he win the big game? Mahomes, Joe Burrow. They win the big games. That's the whole point. That's all we care about. I don't care if he can complete a pass. Lamar can't win the big game. Josh Allen, maybe he can win the big game, but he hasn't really won the big game, has he? He had that turnover before half, cost him the game last week, 33-30 Denver. If they take a knee, I don't know. The coaches now, let's not take a knee with 20 seconds left and our ball at our own 20. Let's go for it, and we can turn the ball over and lose the game. It makes no sense. You're not getting down there. Just take your knee and go to the second half. Stop going for it on 4th and 1s, and stop with stop going for 2. We're down 14. We scored. Well, instead of getting down 7, let's go for 2 and we could miss it. Now we're down 8. And now, if we're lucky enough to score, because we just lost all our momentum, we will then go, have to go for 2 down 8 to tie. Where if we would have kicked the extra point, which is far easier, we kick the extra point, we're tied, let's go to overtime. Amazing. These are how stupid the coaches are, right? LA is 15-4 in a teaser. Again, they're really an over team. They score 27, they give up 26. They're 15-4 in a teaser, 31-7 in a teaser, 46-10 going back 3 years, which we can use because Stafford and Sean McVay have been there. 35 degrees, no wind, so that's not a problem. They're 6-1 as a road dog, 12-3 as a road dog. We go back 3 years. Seattle 15-3 in the teaser. Nothing as a home favorite. We can only use this year because you got the new coach and you got Darnell. So you can't use 2 years ago, which was not very good. Is this guy a good defensive coordinator? This guy from Baltimore? I don't know. They have a good defense, I guess. We will see. They're going to try to run Walker to keep the ball away from Darnold. That's how good Darnold is. They want to run to keep the ball away from him. That's what they did in the number 1 seed game against Frisco, the 13-3 game. All they did was run the ball on Frisco. They didn't want Darnell touching it, throwing interceptions, and losing the game and losing the 1 seed. So that's what they did. But it was an injured Niner team they just beat 2 times in a row. And so, okay, fine. But this is now the Rams. You're not playing the Niners right now. So I love it. Well, they got a great defense. Not against the Rams, they don't. That's what you're looking at is the matchup. Against a guy like Stafford, he'll pick them apart. He's already done it twice. So we'll see. Again, it was 30-30 going into overtime 4 weeks ago. So in teasers, everybody's pretty good. New England 18-1, Denver 17-1. My guess is you play a teaser in that game, you win. So you take, you get 10.5 with Denver, probably a winner. New England maybe wins by a field. I don't know if New England's going to win. It's in Denver, and I'll take Sean Payton over who's the New England coach, Vrabel. I'll take Sean Payton over Vrabel all day and night. It's not even close. He's a much better coach, especially offensively. Who's the New England one? Is that what's his name? The guy used to be on the Patriots with Belichick. I'll take Peyton over him all day. I think he'll have the 2 shots in the Super Bowl would be my guess. Peyton against McVay. And we'll see. I don't believe you're going to get, after surgery, you're going to get you're getting Bo Nix back. I just would be shocked. Although I was shocked in that one team, who was it? The Missouri quarterback dislocates his ankle, and 2 weeks later he's playing. He dislocated against Vanderbilt, and he didn't play the next week or 2, and then he played in a big game with Texas or Alabama or something. Just amazing. How is he playing? It was against Oklahoma he played. He's got a dislocated ankle 2 weeks ago, and he's playing. So I don't know. Bo Nix, I think he broke a bone in his ankle as opposed to breaking his ankle. There's a big difference. So we will see. He had surgery right away that day, and we'll see. They could probably cast it up and protect it. Sort of like what the guy did on Philadelphia, the receiver way back in the Super Bowl. He had a broken ankle, Terrell Owens, I think. And he was on Philly, and he played the Super Bowl against New England with a broken ankle with screws in it. He played. So I guess if you can shoot up, it really doesn't. You feel no pain. So that's about it. I think it's the Rams in Denver in the Super Bowl. Certainly with Bo Nix, it would be the Rams in Denver. Denver would hold serve and win at home. And the Rams just showed you they won at Chicago, which was very difficult. That Seattle beat the Niners. Like, okay, who cares? So I think that's what we're looking at. Anyway, the only injury I know is Bo Nix and that. I'm getting a little cold, mostly because when I go to the pool, it's fucking freezing around the pool. They got like the air conditioning on. Their system's all fucked up, and the heat doesn't work. And so they put the air on, and it's like, give me a fucking break. So you're freezing going into the water. That doesn't help you. It's cold. And yesterday the hot tub wasn't hot, or flushing the system. Well, what the fuck do you do it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for? Could you do it at 9 o'clock at night and just let it go all night? Or can you fucking do it at 7 in the morning? Why do you choose 2 o'clock in the afternoon to do it? And then I go into a cold hot tub, which, believe me, when it's 10 below zero out, you want a hot tub, not a sauna. You want a hot tub. All right, let's look at coaching news. So as we see, the real spread, New England's 4.5, 42.5, 43. Seattle 2.5, 46.5. All right. Let's look at college. Let's look at coaches. New England, Denver, how to watch. How about on TV? What do they mean, how to watch? So they're trying to get to watch. Well, I'm going to buy Paramount when I could just watch it on regular TV. 2026 NFL coaching news. Now, who is this Mike McDaniel? I've never liked him. I don't know. He was the towel boy for the Niners. He's not an offensive. He's not a coach. Miami didn't really score. Well, let's look at Miami. What was their total? Miami, they were an under team with a 23 defense. Let's go back a few weeks. Miami. Of course, I got to pick the week they're on the bye. Can you believe this? I just randomly went through it, and Miami was on a bye. Unbelievable. All right, Miami. What are they on a bye every week? They're there. Miami was a W team with the 26 defense. That means Miami doesn't score. You got Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill was out. Waddle was Acne was okay. And you weren't an over team. You didn't score 30 points a game. So why would I want Mike McDaniel? Does he a good offensive coordinator? I don't get where these guys think they're any good. Prophet, have you ever heard of the Wong teaser rules, and do you try to follow them? Never heard of the guy. The only guy I know is BD Wong, and he was in Jurassic Park. I don't pay attention to other people. I make my own mind up, and I problem solve it to develop to get better wins. And when I lose, I go, why did I lose? But I don't listen to anybody else. I've done this since 77, and I've problem solved it. So, like I said, 1981 or 2, Eric Dickerson, or 84, went to New England as a 7-point favorite. I bet the Rams -1. And I said, and New England won 24-20. And I was like, how the fuck did I lose that game? And I had gone like 9-1 that day, but I was like, so I look at how I lost, and that's, well, New England was probably a good home dog, and the how good of a road favorite was the Rams and going across country. So I develop all that. Joe Montana, all I know is if I get a 7-point favorite, I cut it to 1. I do try to go under 3, just a normal concept because they score a lot, and over 7 because it's a normal concept. But those are just normal common sense things. I don't follow anybody. I don't know who BD Wong is. So their big rule is not crossing the 0. Well, fuck that. I won't listen to that. So in the Seattle Ram game, it means you'll have to play the dog. Not at all. I don't think if you like Seattle, you get 3.5. What's wrong with that? I do that a lot. If I can get the 3.5 or 4 in a game I think will win, in a spread I think's bullshit, I'll cross 0 all the time. Why is that a rule? Is that like going for it on 4th and 1? You go for it all the time? That's a stupid thing, especially at that line. You can get Seattle in 3.5. If you like Seattle, that's a pretty good line. You're getting more than if the Rams win, they'll win by a field goal probably. So I totally disagree with that. No, you're looking at it all in reverse. Get all this crap out of your head, Prophet. You can't win following idiots, right? So don't look for idiots and follow them like it's good. Make your own thing up. Pick the score, pick the teams. I got 27-24 Rams. Now, if I have an option, I'm taking the Rams at 8.5. But I can still take Seattle plus 3.5 if I like, but I don't like Seattle at all. But if I like them, I would go over 3.5. Same thing with New England. It's what, 4.5. So if you like New England, take plus 1.5. That means you don't have to lay anything. But instead, most of these idiots are now, I'll do money line. That's the dumbest bet in the world, the money line. You get terrible odds, but I've never money lined a pro football bet in my life. And I've been doing it since 1969. I would never money. There's no point in money lining. The teaser will get you. So if I want to take Denver, I'll take them plus 1. I don't care. I get 1.5. I don't have to lay points. That's what I'm doing. I think they'll win, but it'll be close. And this way, if they win by a field goal, I win. I don't like Denver because I don't like the quarterback. I do like the quarterback. I'm just saying. So I disagree with all that wholeheartedly. I would never pay any attention to that at all. You're paying attention and being brainwashed by people you don't know. What is the stats on that? Do you have stats? If you took Seattle plus 3.5, what's the odds on it? Is it 80% you win or is it 20%? You don't know. You're just taking a stupid idea and going, oh, it's a stupid idea, but I'll throw it out there. No, it's a stupid idea. I don't follow that rule and have never heard of it. Well, then why are you bringing it up? Bring it up if you kind of follow it and you looked at it for 5 years and you go, yeah, you know what? It's that rule works 75% of the time. Okay, then we can have a discussion. But it doesn't. I've won a lot of games going 2 to plus 4 or 2.5 to plus 3, even 3 to plus 3, because I do my own line. If the line should be, a lot of times the line should be 7 is only 3 or 2.5 or 1.5, but it should be 7. So I do that if I think the line should be 7 and it's only 2, I'll take plus 4 because I know it's really 7 because I make my own lines. I don't have to listen to it. So why do you bring that up if you don't use it? All right, 2026 NFL coaching news. Mike McDaniel withdraws from the Bills search. Phillip Rivers did a review in Buffalo. That's a real intelligent thing. The Chargers will have a new offensive coordinator. Mike McDaniels is expected to go. How does that help San Diego? Mike McDaniels is not good. You still got Herbert. You got that. If you couldn't score with the team you got now, you're in trouble. Your biggest problem is you don't have offensive linemen because you were stupid enough to not draft Brock Bowers and you took some guy from Notre Dame as a guard who has played like 3 games in 2 years instead of having Brock Bowers. All right, let's see what else we got. So I don't buy Mike McDaniels any good. He didn't do anything in Miami. If he's a real good coach, he's an offensive coordinator. Really? They're a W team. They didn't score. Oh, Tyreek Hill got Hill. Oh, so you couldn't – if he's hurt, you can't develop an offense without him? You don't have any other backups? Okay. Kansas City brings back Eric Bieniemy. Why? I don't – leave Mahomes alone where Andy Reid runs the offense. Eric Bieniemy is terrible. Former Atlanta OC Zach Robinson is joining Tampa Bay. Okay, Atlanta has no offense. Why? I don't understand. This is the concept I can't understand. Their offense sucked. Why would you sign their offensive coordinator? Maybe you go to TCU and get their offensive coordinator, or Texas Tech and get theirs, or I don't know, maybe Miami of Florida, maybe Ohio. Well, no, maybe you take the teams that were high scoring, North Texas. Why don't you get that offensive coordinator, or UTSA's offensive coordinator, something like that? Why would you go to a team that doesn't score, Arizona, Miami, and make these idiots your offensive coordinator, and then wonder why you get fired and wonder why your team doesn't score? Unbelievable. Tennessee finalized the deal for Robert Saleh. Oh, he did such a good job at the Jets. He went in to high five Aaron Rodgers, and he looked like he was from Mars. Aaron Rodgers looked at him like, "You don't high five me. I'm Aaron Rodgers." And then the players didn't like him, and he lost his job. So how is he your answer at Tennessee? Your problem is Cam Ward sucks. But since he was the first player taken in the draft, even though he sucks, we do realize you'll never win more than 3 games with Cam Ward because he's not a good quarterback. But so why do you have Robert Saleh? He's a good defensive coordinator at the Niners because they got good talent for him. Tennessee doesn't have talent. He'll fail. He'll last another year or two, and he's all done. I don't get it. You're fired by the Jets. Oh, I want him now because you did such a good job. You got fired by the Jets. All right. Sean McDermott should have been fired years ago. Miami finalized their own head coaching hire with Jeff Hafley, who is the Green Bay defensive coordinator. Did Green Bay have a good defense? No, just Micah Parsons when he went. They blew a 25-point lead to the Bears in the third quarter. Is this the guy you want? Do you think you're going to win? Oh, wait, but they hired the GM from Green Bay, so he took his defensive coordinator, who's not very good. So this is a terrible hire here. Who's this? Miami. So they'll go 3-14 next year. Terrible hire. The Giants and John Harbaugh. The Giants will be lucky to win 5 games with John Harbaugh. He's not a good coach. I don't know why people think he's a good coach. He choked in the playoffs. He didn't use Lamar as a wide receiver. What are you going to do with Dart? All right, maybe if Scatterboot could come back and Neighbors comes back, he's got a pretty good offense. The defense is okay. He didn't do anything with Baltimore, so I don't know what he's going to do here. They're not going to all of a sudden beat Philadelphia and beat Dallas, beat Washington. They're all better teams than the Giants. I think this is a foolish hire. Why is John Harbaugh a good coach? What has he done? Nothing. Have you ever done any football coaching? You should apply to the Raiders. No, but I could be. I'll put it this way: I could be the coach. I'd probably do better as the GM because I can pick talent and I know how to win. I sent resumes out to the football about 10 years ago. I'd like to be your GM. I'll get you to the Super Bowl, and you can start like the Lions. You can start as the towel boy or something. Fuck off. I'd be a great GM. Pure and simple. I wouldn't make these stupid draft picks because I watch college ball, so I know who's good, and I know what I would take Daggio first. And then I would go after Ruben Bain and the Texas Tech guys. That's where I would draft. I would draft defense first. But instead of Minnesota with no quarterback, we would actually have a quarterback because I would draft a good quarterback. And I wouldn't let the owner interfere. No, you gotta draft Prime Junior. I don't want to draft Prime Junior. He sucks. So it'd have to be me running the show, and I wouldn't be like the guy in draft day, Kevin Costner. Oh my god. Uh, the problem with Davis Jr. is he's not a football guy. No, they're business people. They're just there to make money, and they get all this TV revenue. So there's no incentive for them to do good. And when they do get draft picks, they don't want to pay a lot for the draft picks, so they'll draft linemen or tight ends or something where they're not as expensive as a quarterback. The Falcons signed Kevin Stefanski. I don't know how good he is. He was on Cleveland. I don't know. Raheem Morris, I know, sucks. And he went somewhere as their offensive coordinator, I think Tampa. Green Bay, yeah, well, okay. LaFleur, you're not going to win with LaFleur. So let's see. John Harbaugh is there. Jackson Dart. Well, with Harbaugh's preferred offensive coordinator, Tom Watkins, because he did so much at Baltimore. Stefanski in Atlanta. Saleh at Tennessee. Oh, we already talked about this. This is kind of going team by team. Jesse Minter was the defensive coordinator at Michigan and the defensive coordinator at San Diego. Good defensive coordinator, or was it Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh? And first job as a head coach. Probably some yes man who, yeah, I'll leave Lamar at quarterback and we'll go from there. I don't know. I don't see Baltimore doing anything. Sean McDermott got fired. That's the best thing Buffalo could have done. Mike Tomlin, yeah, we know. It's just ridiculous. The people running these football teams are so stupid in their hires. And then so like what do you think Shaw is going to do at Tennessee? With the win 2 games? He has no quarterback. He has no defense. Even if he has a defense, he'll have a good defense and no quarterback. They'll be an under team. We'll make a lot of money on him under. He ain't gonna win anything, So I don't get fired. Brian Callahan, Tennessee. Brian DeBall, the Giants. Raheem Morris, Atlanta. Stefanski, Cleveland. Coach Pete at Oakland. Jonathan Gannon. Who the fuck is that at Arizona? Like you hire that guy, you wonder why you're firing him. John Harbaugh, you wonder why you're firing him. Mike McDaniel, why did you hire him? And Sean McDermott, why did you hire him? I never understood that one. He was the defensive coordinator with the guy on the Eagles. The Eagles had that great defensive coordinator. Yeah, but it's not the same. Hiring a guy who coached under him, he's not making the decisions. It's like somebody here picking games because you listen to me pick games. You're going to be okay if you follow my thesis, but you're not me picking the games because I use my intuition and my psychic abilities. Let's see. Jets to interview Wink Martindale for the defensive. He's the defensive coordinator at Michigan. He was with the Colts or the Ravens. I don't know. He winks too much. Anthony Weaver, who the fuck is this guy? Gets second interview for Cardinals head coach. Weaver has been the Dolphins defensive coordinator. You know how bad the Dolphins defense is? Well, like I showed you here, the Dolphins defensive total was they were actually a 19. Their defense got a little bit better, but still, as a head coach, I don't see that. All right. Philip Rivers. Why would you interview Philip Rivers? He's never coached before. You're going to let him be the head coach of Buffalo. Does he know what he's even doing? I doubt it. Good luck with that. Falcons interview Bears assistant GM Ian Cunningham for GM opening. So the Falcons in Miami are looking for GMs and coaches, and they don't know what they're doing. So they're interviewing them. You don't know what you're interviewing. You don't know what to do. Titans will interview Bears defensive back coach and pass game coordinator Al Harris for defensive quarter for the DC opening. I mean, what does he know? I don't know. It's pretty pathetic, Ty. So it's the same bullshit. They'll fire eight, 9 coaches every year. The problem is they're hiring idiots, right? Now you had the Bears kind of hit a jackpot with Ben Johnson, which was I didn't think he'd be any good, but he was good, and that's why they go after these guys. Yeah, 1 in 100 are good. Most of them suck, which is why you keep firing these guys. These guys aren't good head coaches. There's no Lombardi or Bill Walsh or Bill Parcells out there. So I don't get it. The problem with Davis Jr., he's not a football guy, talk show host. He's a talk show host. Well, he doesn't know anything about football. Al Davis at least was an owner and a coach. So he was a coach first, and then he was an owner, and he knew what he liked. And I want to play Army football, pressure defense, pressure offense, throw the ball deep. He had an idea. I don't think his son has a clue of what he's doing or what he wants to do. So, yeah, I think it's a joke. But that's why you have 7, 8 coaching firings every year. I mean, it's a joke. Every year there's 7 to 8 new coaches. Every year you have your Atlantas and your Clevelands and your Washingtons, and these terrible coaches get hired. Well, I'll take a chance with the guy. He used to be the towel boy at the 49ers, or he's the passing coordinator. Yeah, let's make him the head coach. And it's like, are you kidding me? How about the offensive coordinator? Well, yeah, but they didn't score. So let's take Miami's offensive coordinator because they didn't score. All of a sudden, the Miami coordinators are hot. The team sucked. They have no good coordinators. They did not have a good coach. You watch, San Diego won't be any better than last year. I don't buy Mike McDaniels is going to come in. I don't like Shanahan, to tell you the truth. He's a choke. How many Super Bowls does he choke in? He choked in the Atlanta Super Bowl. He was the OC for Atlanta. We'll give Sean McVay a little bit of credit. He did win the Super Bowl against Cincinnati. Talk about a guy that sucks as the Cincinnati coach. Zach Taylor's terrible. Their defensive coordinator is terrible. Their GM's terrible. You got Joe Burrow and Chase. You should be in the Super Bowl every other year. I don't know. Casey, I think, just got tired. Casey's run is not over. As long as you have Mahomes, he's the best quarterback in the game. You have a chance. They were trying to three-peat, which means you played in the Super Bowl 3 years in a row, and then you get this really hard schedule. And let's face it, you're just tired. You're just tired of let's eat at the Chinese restaurant every day, 3 days in a row. I don't want to eat there the fourth day. And that's the problem, right? They had played in all these Super Bowls. They didn't get the rest because they played the extra 3 games, right? The first playoff game, the championship game, and the Super Bowl. So they're playing 3 extra games every year. So they just got tired, and then they have the hard schedule. So now that they actually finished on time, Mahomes will be fine, and look for KC to be very light. They'll get the easier schedule because they didn't make the playoffs. So you watch all these playoff teams; none of them will come back next year because they'll have the hard schedule, right? So you won't see Seattle next year. You won't see the Rams, Denver, or New England is a joke because they had the easy schedule. So we don't know who New England is. Okay, they beat Buffalo once and lost to it once and beat a shit Baltimore team. Otherwise, they didn't play anybody. Okay, they beat San Diego in a playoff game, who sucked. And they beat Houston, who the quarterback gave him 5 turnovers, 5 interceptions. Sounds like Jared Goff. So putting the point 21 up on Houston was very good. I don't count the 7 was a pick 6 on a play that, like, how is this guy playing quarterback? CJ Stroud. So basically what you have is okay, they give him credit for Houston's defense. But you're not, here Denver is a test. If Bo Nix was there, I would take Denver over New England all day. Again, and they played at home. So when New England gets the tough schedule next year, they'll go 6-11, and you'll see the real team. CJ Stroud, they'll get the hard schedule. They were pretty good this year, but you're not doing anything with CJ Stroud. So the quicker you understand that, you get a new quarterback. Or you run the ball a lot. But this guy cannot be your quarterback. That pass he threw on New England was a joke. I mean, he's going to get sacked, and what does he do? He tries throwing it. Like, dude, you got the best defense in the league. Just go take the sack or throw the ball into there. I mean, what are you doing? Throwing the ball, jump ball, right? So that's the problem you have. So you'll see each year now these teams that make the playoffs won't be back because of the hard schedule. Baltimore, Kansas City. Philly got lucky because they had the Giants, Washington, and Dallas in their league. So they got 6 easy wins. They got to get rid of Jalen Hurts. But the problem is you've got the wrong decisions. The GMs are going after the mobile quarterbacks because I don't know why, because they're idiots. And the offensive line, there's no, Ben Johnson's showing you it's a power running attack that wins, which it does. Look at the teams here. New England, a good running team with Stevenson. Denver, J.K. Dobbins, they were a good running team. And Bo Nix ran a lot, but they're pretty much a balanced run team. The Rams, definitely a balanced team, but you have Stafford who is exceptional. He's the one guy. In Seattle is a running team with Walker, a guy from Michigan State. So they're going back to the running game, which is really what you need. So New England and Seattle are very similar, and then they're playing to their defense, and that's really how you got to coach it. The Rams are a good balanced team. They're the best team, and then Denver, unfortunately, their defense was not that strong, and Bo Nix would bail them out. It was a typical game last week against Buffalo where he just basically, dinked and dunked, and then he threw some. He got the interference call. You got that one beautiful touchdown, and where was that all game? Like, he throws it once a game. So I don't know, but you got Sean Payton there, so that's what you have. But they'll have the harder schedule, and that's going to be tough. Although Denver did win at Philly, which that was like the Bears won at Philly, so that was incredible. And then we found out, well, Philly really isn't that good. They lost to the Niners. How did you lose to the Niners in Seattle? Kills really funny. All right. What else? So we've talked gold and silver. Let's see what we can learn. So there's this one I want to show you. Stop tolerating idiots. I love how the idiots have the horses' heads. Let's watch a little of this.
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari, Chief Executive Officer of Phoenix Energy. I look forward to you.
You're going to waste years of your life on people who aren't worth it. Not because you're weak, not because you're naive, but because you can't see them for what they are. They don't announce themselves. They don't wear signs saying, I will drain every ounce of your energy and give you nothing in return. They seem normal, reasonable, sometimes even intelligent. But underneath, they're what Arthur Schopenhauer would call intellectual and emotional black holes. People whose presence in your life actively makes you dumber, weaker, and more miserable. That friend who always has drama. That colleague who derails every conversation. That family member who turns every interaction into chaos. You tell yourself, they're not that bad. I'm probably overreacting. But Schopenhauer would tell you, no, you're underreacting. You're doing what most people do, tolerating people who should be eliminated from your life immediately. Because somewhere along the way, you were taught that cutting people off is cruel, that setting boundaries is selfish. But here's what Schopenhauer actually said. We forfeit 3/4 of ourselves in order to be like other people. And most of that forfeiture happens in the company of idiots. Today, I'm going to show you the exact traits that identify these people. Not so you can judge others, but so you can protect yourself. Because once you learn to recognize idiots, truly recognize them, you stop wasting years trying to fix, convince, or accommodate them. This is Schopenhauer's guide to identifying the people destroying your potential without you even noticing. Let's begin. Have you ever noticed how some people have an opinion on everything, but can't explain any of it? They know exactly what's wrong with the economy, the government, your career choices, your relationship. They speak with absolute confidence, zero hesitation. But ask them why they believe it. Ask them to explain the reasoning. And suddenly, nothing. They get defensive, change the subject, accuse you of overthinking. Schopenhauer observed this constantly among his academic colleagues. He called them opinionated fools, people who mistake confidence for knowledge, volume for truth. Here's the pattern. They speak only in declarations, never questions. This is obviously true. Everyone knows that. It's common sense. Never, what do you think? Never, I might be wrong, but never genuine curiosity. And here's why this destroys you. When you spend time with people who are certain about everything, you start believing certainty is intelligence. You stop saying, I don't know. You stop asking questions. You stop being curious because uncertainty looks weak compared to their confidence. But Schopenhauer knew the wise have always said the same things, and fools, who are the majority, have always done the opposite. What do fools do? They confuse confidence with understanding. The wise, they ask questions, admit uncertainty, actually think about what they believe and why. Naval Ravikant updated this perfectly. The most important trick to being smart is knowing what you're dumb at. But people who speak only in certainties never admit what they're dumb at, because that would require humility they don't possess. What to do the next conversation tests them. Ask, why do you believe that? If they can explain with reasoning, evidence, nuance, you're talking to a thinker. If they get defensive, deflect, or just repeat the claim louder, you're talking to an idiot performing intelligence. And
that happens to us a lot, right? What's the one thing I do is I explain, right? Why are we buying gold and silver? Because they can't print it and the dollar's worthless because they overprint it. So I've explained it to you. The idiot would just say, like Peter, what is it? Peter Lynch. Or no, what's the guy's name? Peter. Whatever his name. I can't think of his name. Or Andy Andy Shackman is an idiot because he'll rumble on and never explain anything. What's that guy's name? Peter, whatever. With the white hair and the beard who thinks he knows. God, I can't believe I can't think of his name. And then Jim Reichardt's. I mean, these guys can't explain shit. It's emotional to them, so they can say buy gold or buy or it's going to dump. Especially AI, Mr. Fuji sits there. Well, it's going to go down because they're raising market. Like he doesn't even know it's AI. You don't even know it's real. They can say anything in AI. So that's the problem. They are emotional on it. They sound confident. I'm sure, I don't want to go there. I'm sure the stock market's going to go up. Why? Well, because it does. Or I buy Bitcoin. Why? Well, I don't know, but I buy it because it goes up. But why do you buy it? They can't answer it. This sounds like my brother, who I hate, sits there and constantly, if I have a conversation with him, he's constantly changing subjects. So he challenges me, and then I tell him to go fuck off, and I prove my point. And then he goes, and we'll go through 10 different things. He keeps changing and changing and changing because he's an idiot. He can't relate. He can't say, yeah, that's a good point. He's never said to me in my lifetime, that's a good point. You're right. No, never. It's always, well, let's talk about the sun. Okay, let's talk about the rain, and let's talk about trees, and let's talk about the grass. And he keeps changing subjects because I have answers that I have thought of and I am correct, and he's not. He's emotional. And no, I'm sure the dollar's fine, or like Trump, oh no, the inflation's zero, and he says it with confidence, right? This is the biggest problem with politicians. They come across confident that they know what's going on, and they don't, right? What do you mean inflation's 3%? In what world is inflation 3%? But they won't answer the question. They can't because they don't know. What prices are down? Are they? Which is the biggest problem, right? If somebody's confident, you believe them. But if you ask them to defend your decision, like this BD1 guy, you can't. Then you're just trying to fool something. What is Brady's role with the Raiders exactly? He's part owner, but does he have any real input to the day-to-day running of the organization? I don't know. I know he's part owner. That's all I know. He's not the GM. I'm sure if they said, can you pick a good quarterback for us to draft, I would think they'd go to Brady with that. He doesn't want to lose money. I'd prefer to see as a quarterback coach at least, Brady. Yeah, I got that. John C., hello. TK, is Stidham going to win or what? I don't know. How can I answer that? I haven't seen him play. I think he'll do well. I don't know if he's clutch. I don't know if they can win with him or if it's going to be let's run the ball because I'm Sean Payton, and the best way to win is to run it down New England's throat if they can. So I don't know what we're going to get because I don't know Stidham. Like I said, he was at 18-5 at Auburn is all I know. But I think he'll do okay. How many interceptions? Won't be as much as C.J. Stroud. He'll be better than C.J. Stroud. Let me put it that way. Some people are ignorant. 99% of the people we run into, John Z, are idiots, right? Take Bobby's daughter. Well, Dad, why are you buying gold and silver? You can't take it to the grocery store. That's an idiot response. What kind of response is that? What do you mean you can't take it to the grocery store, so don't buy gold and silver? I mean, it's comments like that they're idiots. No offense, Bobby. I don't mean to put your daughter down. I'm just using it as an example, but that's the problem. You've got to be able to think, is this good or not? I just shot all these coaches down because I said, what's this guy done? These Miami coaches, they're great coaches. No, they're the only thing available with experience. So the GMs jump to them or the owners. And then what happens is 1 or 2 years later, you're firing the coach and getting new coordinators. Or in the Lions case, they've gone through 3 offensive coordinators already. in what, 3 years with Campbell? Or no, the first year, then he went to Ben Johnson for 2 years, and now he's on the new guy who's I can see I'm gonna have to put onions on the bottom of my feet tonight. So anyway, as it's saying, people who come across confident because they're too stupid to know they're wrong. The sky is blue. Da, 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 da. And so if they say, well, there's no inflation, but they say it strongly and confidently, people believe them. And that's what the politicians do. They fuck everybody over. They don't know anything. These are mostly attorneys. Trump was he's a moron anyway, but he didn't build them. His dad, these are all his dad's buildings in New York. So he's not doing anything. He had a casino, Trump Plaza, that went bankrupt. How the fuck do you have a casino go bankrupt? He's got a casino in Vegas. I've never been to it. I never would go to it. So I don't know. I don't buy anything. But sounds like thunder. But that's the problem, right? Just because, so you get fooled because you don't know. So somebody talks confidently about something and you go, oh, they must know what they're talking about. I hear it on this retirement show. The retirement show goes, well, come to us. We'll put your money in stocks, and then some stocks are growth and some are dividends when you retire because you won't be getting a paycheck. And then the stocks with the dividends, you're going to pull the dividend and use it to pay rent and go on trips and everything else. What if the stock market crashes? See, they're not thinking, but they come across confident. So you go to them and you, okay, I'll put all my money into the stocks. And when the market crashes, you're gonna have a few words for your stockbroker. That's why I showed you an attack on Wall Street, because the guy then shoots his stockbroker because he loses $60,000 and his house and his wife, who kills herself, all because he lost all his money. I'm not sure why the wife killed herself. They were happy together. It was just she had to get medicine that was expensive. So maybe she thought that all she had to do was fast and she would have been fine. But if you don't listen to our doctors, you don't know what to do. So this is the problem. If you listen to somebody without knowing it, or if you say to your financial planner, explain, what am I going to do when the stock market crashes? Oh, it always bounces back. Oh, really? Not this time. Yeah, go ask Japan and China how their stock markets bounce back. So that's the problem. So what happens to us is, in an area we don't know, we end up listening to somebody who we don't know if he knows or not, but he comes across confident without explanation. I'm going to put you in this real estate trust. Why? Because it makes 10%. But why does it make 10%? What are the risks in this? Oh, there's no risk. Like the guy told him in the movie, he said, you told me there'd be no risk. And it was 8 to 10% a year with no risk. What happened to that? Did he get that in writing and sue him because he said there'd be no risk? No. So the attack on Wall Street guy didn't know. So he goes to the financial and assumes he knows what he's doing, and he doesn't. It's all a game where it's about the commissions. And they even say that. The Home Alone guy says, no, we did it for the commissions. We don't give a fuck about you. But if Attack on Wall Street guy understood what was going on, he would have simply, he'd have bought gold and silver if he found me, and he'd be happy as hell, especially now. Now, to answer John C's question about Stidham going to win or what, how could we answer that question? The only time I saw him play was at Auburn in 2018. He was okay. I thought he didn't get a good chance at New England. New England drafted him. So he's played a few games, a couple with Oakland and some other teams. But I can't honestly answer that question without seeing him. I can tell you Cam Ward sucks, and I can tell you CJ Stroud sucks, and I can tell you Drake May's not all that, and Caleb's not all that. You know, oh, Caleb's elite now. Oh, yeah. Was it the 3 interceptions against the Rams costing them the chance for the championship game? Was that the reason Caleb's elite now? Well, he threw the miracle catch to go to overtime. Yeah, but then in overtime, he throws the interception. He's not elite. That's a joke. Caleb is not elite. Okay. He's average. You're not going to win with a Caleb, right? So get that through your head. He scrambles around and he throws some miracle catches, but he's not. Lamar's not elite. Lamar's not even average. He's terrible. He shot puts everything. What can I say? You're never going to win with Lamar. He's not a good quarterback. He's a good receiver. That's it. He's fast. Doesn't make him a good quarterback. So this is the problem. Some people are ignorant. Most people are ignorant until they can figure out how to problem solve, and then they're not ignorant anymore. They're smart. Do you think they win with Bo Nix? Well, again, I would give him a much better chance with Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix is really good. I don't think he's a joke. But as I was saying, people who can't think are ignorant. Like, I'm a critical thinker, so I'm not ignorant because I don't just believe. I analyze. As I said earlier, I lost that New England Ram game in 1982, and I thought about why did I lose, which led me into my whole trend analysis spreadsheet of teams are home. As I'm giving you here, New England's 18-1 in a teaser, and they are 6-1 as a road, or no, like Denver, 17-1 at home. So they have a really good chance of winning, even with Stidham. Or the Rams are 12-3 as a road dog. So they're a good road dog. So that's what that led me to do, was critically think, why did I lose? Normally why I lose games is I take a 7-1 when I really should be taking the game to 13. Then that's what this tells me now. Like here, I could take Seattle 3.5, but the real bet is the Rams at 8.5, 9. That's the bet. That's the better play. These are even teams. And they played real close games, the 2 games they played. So the smart fellow goes, well, I'm not really, the smart fellow tells you, I don't know if Bo Nix would win. I don't know. I certainly can't tell you I don't know if Stidham would win because there's no data on it. So I could appear confident and stupid and say, oh, yeah, Stidham's good, he's going to win, or he thinks he's not going to win. I could come across very confident, but that wouldn't be right because I don't know. So I tell you I don't know. That's the smart guy. The smart guy says, I don't know. And then I explain why. There's no data on Stidham. How can I possibly give you an answer to a question that you can't ask because who knows? I can tell you Stafford. I can tell you Darnold's a choke. And I can tell you Drake May is very unlikely to win as a road favorite in Denver. Even with Stidham, I wouldn't bet Drake May. So it's either take Denver or, as I did it, I took it over because Denver's defense is not that good. And New England's, again, is good against CJ Stroud, which doesn't mean anything. Profit. Weather could be a bigger issue in Denver game now. They're right on the edge of the huge weather system. Yeah, their temperature's down to like 11 degrees. Now, is that cold enough to cause I don't know, because New England's cold weather. Denver's obviously cold weather. But they're not getting really hit with it. They're not going to get 10 inches of snow like I'm going to get. So, yeah, they're on the edge of the system. They are getting colder weather in, but I don't think that's the biggest factor. I think it's warm enough that they can play. The Bears played Green Bay in 15 degrees, and that was a high-scoring game. So I don't think it bothered. When it hit 0, then it did affect the Rams and the Bears. and they still put up 37. So do we have Drake May? Is he going to put up all these points? I doubt it. Will Stidham put up all the points? I doubt. That's what I'm saying. I think they get in the 20s, even with the cold weather. I don't want to make it too big of a factor. If it's 0, yes. If all of a sudden it's 0 Sunday, yeah, it's an under game. They're not going to score a lot. But New England scores. They score a lot. Denver's defense is weak. So that's what leads me away from Stidham, even though I think they might win. It's New England should score a lot, which takes me to my over. My sportsbook still has the Rams teaser line skewed by 2 points. Well, that's what you're getting. You got to get another sportsbook. You've got to be smart and say, well, no, I'm supposed to add 6 points. I should have 8.5. And if I don't, I can either shop and pay $10 more for the steak or go to another grocery store and get the steak at its normal price. So just look for another sports book. That's all you can do. I mean, the sports book is bullshit. It's not real. They're trying to get you on being stupid or being not smart enough to go to another store. Don't take that shit. Go somewhere else. That's what you should be doing. So, yeah, I mean, you've got a bad sports book. Put it like that. Now, let's say you wanted to take Seattle. Are you getting 3.5, or would you get 5.5, or is it fucking you on both ends, making it a 4-point teaser? You're playing a 4-team 6-point teaser. Means you get to add 6 to the line. And if they're not letting you do that, tell them to fuck off and go somewhere else. It's as simple as that. Look at other things. There's nothing special about your sports book. With Seattle, I get +5. So they are 2.5. So you should get 3.5. Yeah, they're skewing it where the Rams should get 8.5 and Seattle should get 3.5. So they're giving you, yeah, I figured that. So they're actually, why are they doing 1 when Seattle's actually a 2.5-point favorite? It should be +3.5 or +8.5. So it's bullshit to only give you 7. And then, yeah, they figure that you're more likely to take the dog and take the Rams at 8.5 than take Seattle at 5. So if you wanted Seattle, then it would be okay. You get the 5, but it's not. They're dreaming. Their line is, it's not. They're making their line 1, but it's 2.5. So no, I would be north very quickly with another sports book. Anyway, so that's the whole point of a video. It's if they say it confidently enough, you believe it. That's how the politicians get elected. They come across and they're nice here in a nice suit. They come across like they're smart and they tell you this is, oh, inflation's low. Or I'll get us out of the war. How often do you hear that? I'll get us out of the war. We're in the war. I'll get us out of the war. What did Trump? I'll end the Ukraine war in 1 day. Now it's been a year. It's still going on. It won't end because Britain doesn't want it to end because they think they can sell to the defense, the military complex, and get out of them being broke. All these countries are broke. Hence the wars. The wars are about to steal. You go to war to steal the other country's gold, silver, and oil, like the Nazis did. Hitler went to these other countries, stole their gold and silver, and brought it back to Germany. That was the intent of the war. And yet you have a military to protect, like Fort Knox here. You have the military protect your gold. So that's it. Now the people who think there's 8,000 tons of gold in Fort Knox are listening to some idiot who's confident. Oh, yes, we have it. Oh, well, Joe Blow said we have it. So I'm going to believe that. And you're like, what are you talking about? Based on what? If we had it, why aren't we using it? If they are, why don't they audit it and show us? Why aren't they audit? But because somebody says it confidently, you believe we have the gold in Fort Knox. And I'm saying, well, what are we waiting for? If we have it, we need to use it. Since we're not using it, we don't have it. I'm scared to go to the pool because the pool is so cold. Hopefully the hot tub's warm. And I can get a nice hot tub. I might have to go to the Onions tonight. We'll see. I could go to a 10-point teaser to get the Rams over 7, but then your odds are bad. No, you should be, but again, that should be 12.5. Are you going to get 12.5 in the 10-point teaser, or they're going to fuck you there too? So again, I'd get a new sports book, but I'd check who gives 6-point teasers that are really 6-point teasers. DK, you think these games are rigged? No, I don't think they're rigged. It's minus 120 for 14 teasers. That's terrible. Minus 120. I don't pay that for a 2-team teaser. No, you see, you're just. Do you need the action? Is that what it is? Just go to somewhere else. Are the games rigged? I think you might get 1 or 2 regular season games rigged, or a couple of them. There has been some rigged Super Bowls. That Oakland Tampa was rigged. The Super Bowl III, the Jets Baltimore was rigged. But I think on the overall, I think the winner wins. It's just how many points do they cover by, and I don't buy that everything's rigged and everything's plotted out. And, well, they want Stafford in the Super Bowl, so the Rams are going to win, and they want Drake May in there, so New England will win. I don't buy that. I buy, here Denver's 5. They always say Denver, you can win by 3. I'll buy that more than I'll buy it's rigged and Denver's going to lose or Denver's going to win. I don't buy that. There's too many. There's too much. There's turnovers. I think the refs help them with the penalties. All of a sudden, a holding call comes. You haven't had a holding call all game. All of a sudden, holding. And then the TV shows the holding. Well, yeah, but it's on every play, which you don't show. And then you say, well, it was pass interference, but they missed it. They didn't call it. And I don't like the whole, why is Chris Collinsworth so wait, no, did he catch the ball? Did he get both feet in? Oh, it looked like he was juggling. Okay, that's not your role to point out it's a catch or not. Your role is to analyze the game and say, that's a good play. That's a bad play. This is what I would do against that defense. That's what I hate about Brady and Aikman. They're morons. Instead of Aikman saying, this is what I would do in this situation, or what we did at Dallas, or what Jimmy Johnson called, he doesn't say anything. Same thing with Brady. He doesn't say anything that helps. Like, this is what I would have done at New England or Tampa. This is the play I would have called. Look what I did against Seattle. That's what you want those guys there for, not to say, yeah, he did get his foot in, or, it did bobble. We can see that, and we don't care about that shit. It's really degrading to hear these idiots. None of them are good. The worst is Herb Kirkstreet, who's just, look at that block by the lineman. It's like, yeah, we're not interested in block by the lineup. Why don't you tell us, how they're going to score or what happened, or something intelligent. You're an idiot, basically. All those guys are. I could get Denver plus 14.5. The Rams plus 11 is part of it too. Well, the odds are terrible. Minus 120. Pick 4 teams. I mean, you'll probably lose it. I don't know. I wouldn't go there. I mean, if you don't want to get a better book, then I would just stick with your 16 teaser and hope that the Rams, if the Rams lose by 7, you said it's a do-over. The bet doesn't count even if you win the other 3. That's ridiculous. But that's probably what I would do, because I think the Rams are going to win the game. So you get 7 points with it. But I would never bet at that sports book. 3 teams, 1 total. and you're playing minus 120. You're betting 120 to win 100, going 3 for 3. That's ridiculous. Like I said, I pick a 2-team 6.2s, I'm paying 110. So I don't know. Yeah, the casinos are losing money because of Vegas and all that. So we talk markets a lot. Markets are Vegas has killed their market because they want only the rich. Who thought of that? Yeah, I don't want you guys here. I only want guys who want to bet $10,000 a game. That's it. I don't want you guys. You guys don't bet enough. I mean, that's just, it's idiotic. I'm just using that as an example. I don't mean that, but we only want high rollers. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's just so stupid, and it doesn't work. And everybody's going to Macau now to gamble. Nobody's going to Vegas. Vegas is a bunch of people taking selfies, going to clubs, which are the stupidest idea I've ever heard. What is so good about going to a club? If you want to drink, you can drink at the bar. If you want to smoke, you can smoke at the bar. If you want to look at girls, you can look at the bar. What is the point? Listening to some DJ who's an idiot? That's got to be the dumbest waste of time I can think of, is going to a club, paying money for a $500 bottle of wine or champagne. Yeah, no, I'm not going to waste my money that way and my time. It's a waste of time. So I don't know. Maybe people think, well, playing poker is a waste of time. I make money at it. I don't think it is. So I mean, that whole thing is just so stupid. For me, anyway. I get no value at it. People like that want to be seen or want to say I went to this club or heard this DJ. One girl said to me, "Oh, this DJ's playing," and I when I got done laughing, I go, "Who gives a fuck? What's a DJ? He plays record. He doesn't sing or dance. He just plays the record. What do you mean you go to hear the DJ?" I mean, it's got to be the stupidest reason to go to a club, because the DJ's there and he's going to play good records? Okay. Nice meeting you. Have a nice day. Goodbye. Just purely stupidity. Well, Prophet, you got to be a man and make your decision. My decision would be to play the 4-teamer, but if you tie on the Ram game then the bet doesn't count, even though you won the other 3, I would be looking for a new sports book. I wouldn't be betting with that if they're going to fuck around with their odds. So no, I wouldn't do that. But that's me, Mr. Vegas. Anyway, as we're talking about markets, so Vegas wants just high rollers. They don't want anybody else. People who are going to come and shop and eat and drink and bet on sports and play poker and play slot machines. We don't let them there. We don't want all these people making losing $5,000. No. We just want the whale who doesn't exist. The whale doesn't want to go to an empty casino so he can bet a lot. He'll go to Macau. You want to have fun. You want the crowd. You want the people there. That's half the point of it. I was watching The Gambler with James Caan again. I like watching the Vegas part. I said I go back like 10 minutes and I watch the Vegas part, and then I turn it off. That's all I want to see is the Stardust sign light up. And it's just the market. It's just he goes and bets. He was probably the stupidest gambler I've ever seen. He said he hits 13 passes in a row at the craps table. Why did he leave? I didn't see him 7-0. Then he hits a roulette. He wins 12 grand on red 5, but then he leaves. I'd be playing more. And then in Backrack, he hits four winners. And the girl says, "Oh, this is our lucky table." And not anymore. I won 4 in a row. It's time to leave. No, it's time to stay. That's what you're looking for. And then in blackjack, he hits the 18 and draws the 3 and doubles down and wins. And that's it. He's like, you just hit double down at 18 with the 3 and you hit it. Where are you going? He didn't even know how to gamble. He didn't understand streaks. This is why he lost $50,000. Then he goes and bets a bunch on the basketball games. What are you doing? Why are you betting 15 grand? Because his whole thought was to get even. So he lost 45 grand. His mom gave him 45 grand. I'll go to Vegas and gamble it, but let me bet 45 grand on basketball games, which I know nothing of, apparently. He goes 0 for 3, loses the 45, but he wins 45 in Vegas. Okay, where are the Gambler film with James Caan was amazing. It was very good. He's a very good actor. I mean, he played the guy, with Gale Sears. Well, I want to say Rocky Blair, but I know that's not right. He played, God, my mind's going. What's his name? Brian Piccolo. So he was very good in that role. Yeah, Brian's son. He was very good. You believed he was a football player. And then when he was dying, he was a very good acting like you believed he was dying. And Billy D. Williams, so you could see the pain. That was a very good movie. He does One in the Thief, and then he did this gambler movie. So he was a real good actor, as well as The Godfather. I didn't think they used him properly at all. He had very little time. And then they were only going to make one movie, so they kill him off. They killed the Don off, and then they make another movie, and these characters are not in it. They should have been in it. You could have easily used them in both. So again, this is where the whole sequel comes in. No, I made one movie. That's all I was making. And then you get whatchamacallit, the Don. God, I'm drawing blinks all over them. It must be this cold. What's the Don's name? I can't believe this. God, this is something's wrong here. Anyway, they would have used him in the next movies, but he was very good in that movie too, but very underplayed. So you didn't think he was all that good of an actor, but then when you saw Brian Song at The Gambler, you go, "Oh, this guy's good." But I didn't like the perception of The Gambler. Of he loses his girlfriend, he loses all his money. I mean, that's what I took out of it. It's always the guys who, they all lose their money, they lose their spouses. Well, some of us actually do win, and we don't lose our girlfriends. So that's just a terrible thing. No, the Don, Marlon Brando. That's who it is. I think I'm blowing my nose too much. I'm losing my thing. And notice how I think of them when I'm not thinking of them. I tried thinking of them, and I couldn't think of Marlon Brando. And then I get off subject, and I'm not thinking about him anymore. And all of a sudden, he pops in, Marlon Brando. But if you're going to make a Godfather 2, you need Marlon Brando and James Caan in it. It was stupid, not too much Al Pacino, which I didn't like at all. I didn't like the other brother, Fredo. I thought he was terrible. I just thought the whole thing didn't make sense. Anyway, that's the thing. Gambling's about streaks. I think life's about streaks. Look, right now we're having a hot streak on silver and gold. You don't sell it now; you keep it. And the intent is never to sell it. And we're going to watch this go and go and go. As the years go on, gold and silver will hit the moon. They might go all the way to the moon. So you don't sell now. We're on a hot streak. We've waited for the hot streak. Like I said, in November, middle of November, it was 52. It's now doubled in 2 months. Now move ahead 2 months, and we'll see where it goes. A lot of it is BRICS going to a gold back currency, which will help gold dramatically. Anyway, it's about markets. It's the same thing with the girl, Lauren Hutton in the movie. That I remembered. So in The Gambler, there's James Caan, Lauren Hutton together, and then she leaves him because the market changed. He was a smart guy, and he gambled, and he loses money, and she doesn't care. But then he starts getting a little bit weird on her, and he was no longer her market anymore. And that happens a lot. That's why you get divorced. The guy changes, or he's been hiding, and now he this other part of him comes out, and the girl doesn't like it and says, fuck off. Me and Daria are very compatible, and I've not done anything that would make her, I don't want to be with him. But you learn the person. Like Alyssa, I know she likes a certain brand of caramel, which they only sell at Walmart. So I was at Walmart yesterday, and I picked her up 2 jars of it. She didn't ask for it. I just know she likes it. It's stuff like that you do. So you learn the person, and then you do stuff like that. It wasn't expensive. It was $4 a bottle, so it's a big deal. But that's what you do. And then they appreciate that. And then, but if you don't like them, you don't buy it for them. You say, fuck off. I'm busy. I can't make it. So that's the market. So we're all markets and everything. Food, girls, clothing, whatever. And we buy what we like. And fortunately, there is a market to do it. And it's just we're running out of money to do it with. We have to go to gold and silver. And that's where we'll eventually go to. But in football, there's markets. What do we do with Stidham? Well, we don't know. There's no market for Stidham. We have to see what the market is for. He might be great. He might suck. But I think if he's Sean Payton knows what he's got, he'll do okay. You're trying to do a 4-team teaser. That's another market. Why 4 teams? Why not just do a 2-team teaser? Just take the Rams and the Rams over. Why are you going 4? You want better odds. Well, you can't. They're not going to give you the Rams an 8 in a 4-team teaser. So just play a 2-team teaser and get the 8.5 there. You don't need 4 teams. So again, figure that out. But again, a lot of it is critical thinking. We're thinking things out. Does it make sense? If you're playing poker and the guy's bluffing you, does it make sense? You checked, like on the river when the guy checks, he's first acted, he checks, and now it's just 2 of you playing. He checks, and then you bet, and then he raises you. And critically thinking, it makes no sense. You're going, he wouldn't have checked if he had a hand because he wants to win. The game is winning. That's the name of the game. That's the object. So he would bet something because he's got a good hand. So by him checking and then I bet and then he raises me, it doesn't make sense. He would have bet coming out. So critically thinking, the raise is meaningless. And I think I called him before he had his chips in the pot. I had like pocket queens and I called him and I won. He had nothing. And I just laughed to myself going, what kind of bluff was that? There's no way I could put you on any hand because you checked first, which meant you had nothing. That's where when you play poker and you critically think, you look at the bets. You don't really look at the guy's body language, all that bullshit. That's the wrong thing to look at. You look at his bet. And you try to figure out what he's doing. Does it make sense? Pre-flop, he bets $20 or $25. Yeah, he's probably got a hand. He's not doing it with 2-3. And then the flop comes and you see his bet. And then if he checks on the turn, he missed his straight or flush or whatever he was going after. Or if he checked on the river, he's got 4 hearts or 4 clubs or 4 to a straight. He didn't catch it. Otherwise, he'd bet because he's showing you he's aggressive pre-flop. So you're analyzing all this as you're playing poker, just like we're doing football, just like we're doing gold and silver. We're analyzing shit. The dollar's worthless because they're printing the shit out of it, and it's not backed by anything, which leads us to what do we do? How do we survive? Oh, well, and that's where the Titanic is a similar situation that you could use in this situation to clarify it. And it's basically the dollar's gone, the dollar's sunk. You got to get to the lifeboat. No, not to the British pound, Swiss franc, the euro. The only out is gold and silver. That's how I figured that out because I knew Biden did a $5 trillion spending bill. Well, what the fuck's he doing that for? How is he? Where's that money coming from? Oh, we're just printing it. And knowing that you can't print the money, so that's the first thing that I learned. You can't print the money; it becomes worthless. Peter Schiff, that was the name I was looking for. So Peter Schiff comes across like he knows, like he's knowledgeable, but he's not. He can't explain it. Peter Schiff and Andy Schectman just keep talking. They yap, but they don't say anything. They're not, they don't have the balls to like what you guys ask me a question, I answer it. That's intelligence. I can answer the questions pretty much right away. And so they don't. And so people say, well, buy gold. Well, because you sell gold. Andy Schectman, buy gold because you sell it, but you don't know why. You don't understand inflation. Peter Schiff doesn't understand inflation. He won't tell you it's printing the dollar. He'll think it's prices or the CPI index. I used to listen to Mike Maloney at first, and then I realized he was an idiot. Now, again, I'm using the term lightly as what we're talking about here with idiots. They can't explain what they're saying, but they can say, "Oh yeah, well, I listen to Jim Rickards." And as soon as I hear that, I turn it off. And or Ray Dalio or this milkshake guy, they're all idiots. No, you're printing the dollar, and it's worthless because it's not backed by anything. You can't just print $250 trillion and think they're worth something. I think it's like $150 trillion because of the petrodollar and the FX stuff. So you realize it's not worth anything, and then you get out to gold and silver. But I don't need anybody to tell me to do that. I learned it, and I know to do that. And now we're reaping the fruits because now we're seeing it do what it should have done a while ago, but it was held down by COMEX is keeping the price down, not the market. So now that we see the market going, we figured that out. It'll blow my brains out. So that's what you're really looking at. And you do that with anything. You do it with women, you do it with your friends, you do it with whatever it is you're trying to figure out. Does it make sense? Like I haven't heard from Daria in a week. Now I know there's trouble in Moscow where they're having weak internet, which they're trying to keep the internet shut because they don't want the Ukrainians, the British reading their stuff. So they kind of are killing their internet. But I haven't heard from her a week. Well, that doesn't make sense. That's not like Daria to not talk to me for a week. So I was expecting at least an email on it, but I don't know what's going on. But I know it's not. She's not with another guy, and she's not. Oh, I don't like him anymore, because that's not possible. So that's what you're trying to do. Does things make sense? And really, oh, my wife's always home at 6:00 after work, and we make dinner. And lately, she's not come home at 6:00. She's coming home at 9:00. What's going on? That doesn't make sense, right? So oh, she's fooling around, obviously. So anyway, you got all that where you're trying to analyze it. When you gamble, you want to play streaks. That's how you analyze it. If red comes up in roulette, I'm going to keep playing red. But if I hit red 10 times in a row, I'm not leaving the table. I'm waiting until black hits. And if black doesn't hit for another 10 minutes, I'm going to make a fortune on red. And that's what you do. So you have your strategy, then you go through it. So poker, you're trying to figure out, can you read the guy? Does it make sense, the moves he's making? Craps and blackjack, there's nothing you can do. Poker, you're trying to read the guy. Doesn't make sense what he's doing. Sports betting, again, it's the same thing. We're trying to make sense out of these games, right? We're looking at the teaser trends. We're looking at the weather. We're looking at the injuries. So New England, Denver, what makes sense in the game? Well, we can't really tell because we got Stidham. We think he's okay. We think they should be competitive in the game. We don't know. And in the LA Seattle, we go, well, Stafford is better than Darnold. Darnold's a choke, and he's still a choke, and he's always going to be a choke. All you got to do is pressure him. He'll throw 4 interceptions. So you keep that in mind. So you go, LA should win. They got Stafford. They got the better coach. And the defense goes to Seattle, but, Seattle should run the ball a lot. But, that's what you look. You have a pretty mild night. It's 35 and no win. So there should be a ton of points, which is how I developed to go over in the game, right? Because the Rams defense isn't very good. So Seattle should score. The Rams are going to score, and you're going to get all we need 40 points. And I guarantee they'll both be over 20, which gets us a winner there. And then the Rams at 9 should be good. And whatever you can figure out with the New England Denver game. It's a little bit, I'm handicapped because there's only 2 games, and that's it. But again, you're trying to critically think the game, analyze it, problem solve it. So you do that in everything, and you're way ahead. You're not stupid. I'm not trying to be confident with something, but once I make my decision and I problem solve the Ram game, now I'm confident it'll go over. But I explain it to you. The guy who's confident but can't explain it, oh, I'm in Bitcoin. Why? Well, I don't know, because it's worth a lot. Those are the idiots. If you can't explain your explanation, you're an idiot, right? And so you don't want to follow somebody who can't explain their explanations. That's about that's what you're trying to do. Is give me the explanation. Why should I? Or why shouldn't I? You want to date me? Why? You want to marry me? Why? Why do you want to marry? Doesn't make sense. Well, because you got a lot of gold and silver. Yeah, that ain't gonna fly. Now, if you just like me because you like me, that's a different story. And that's the problem we get when you do have gold and silver is people just want to be friends because they want the gold and silver. And that's really why you got to be quiet about it. If she likes you because she likes you, then that's different. She's not using you for your money. But that's about it. So I think we covered it all. Again, be careful with the stupids. These wars are about stealing gold and silver and oil. That's why we're in the Ukraine. We're not even in the Ukraine. The Ukrainians are stupid enough to fight for us. They're missionaries. I don't know. They've lost 2 million guys, and everybody's leaving. Jenna went to, she moved to Berlin to get out of it. And there's a lot of Ukrainians there. So a lot of Ukrainians said, fuck this. And they moved to Berlin. So now they're really Germans. They're not Ukrainians. I don't know. It's crazy what's happening. All these immigrants. It's very bad. London. Oh, I wanted to show you London. We'll wrap up with that. So here's Britain's collapse.
Kids are great, but sometimes they can be quite the handful.
Preventing misinformation. Forces in riot gear, fire, chaos, smoke rising over the skylines
This
of
is
towns that used to
yesterday
be
in
peaceful.
Britain.
This is not isolated unrest. This is not a few far-right thugs, as the BBC wants you to believe. This is a national uprising. From the streets of Bristol to the docks of Liverpool, from the suburbs of Manchester to the heart of Newcastle, from Leeds to Cardiff.
Okay, you don't need to name every fucking
Glass
city in
shattering,
London.
sirens wailing, communities pushing back against a system that has ignored them for too long.
See, this sounds like AI. It's curious.
And the man responsible, the man who created this powder keg and lit the match, sits in Downing Street pretending it is not his fault. Keir Starmer has lost control of Britain, and tonight, the country is making that brutally clear. Look at the list. It is overwhelming. Dover, Norwich, Tamworth, Perth, County Antrim, Epping,
Okay, we
Canary
get
Wharf,
it.
15 cities and counting, all erupting over the exact same issue, migrant hotels. A nationwide explosion of fury directed at a government that decided British communities didn't deserve a say in their own futures. And, at the centre of it all, the Holiday Inn in Tamworth. At 9:17 p.m., the situation in Tamworth went from a protest to a siege. A petrol bomb arced through the air and smashed through a ground floor window. The hotel ignited instantly. Flames poured from the windows. Smoke choked the street. Police lines collapsed under a barrage of bricks as they tried to hold back a crowd that outnumbered them 5-1. This is Starmer's Britain, and it is burning. To understand the sheer scale of this, you have to look at the numbers. 32,000. That is the number of migrants currently housed in 210 hotels across the United Kingdom. These are not temporary accommodations. These are not emergency shelters for a few weeks. These are permanent residences. And here is the statistic that is driving people onto the streets. Last year alone, 111,000 asylum claims were lodged in Britain. That is the highest number ever recorded in British history. Where are these people going? They are going into your communities. They are going into hotels that used to host British families on holiday. They are going into venues that hosted British weddings and business conferences. Now, they are migrant processing centres funded by your taxes. £8 million every single day. While you are told there is no money for the NHS, while you are told there is no money for schools, while British families freeze because they cannot afford heating. There is always money for this. And Keir Starmer admitted it out loud. In his own words, he said, "I know local people don't want these hotels." He knows. He has been told. He has seen the data. He has seen the anger building for months. And he opened more hotels anyway. That is not ignorance. That is a choice. A calculated decision to ignore British communities and press ahead regardless. But why now? Why?
So here's another Soros guy, and this is happening in France and the UK, and Germany has a little bit of rioting going on. So this is not good. This is because they're broke. They're bringing in the immigrants. I have no idea why. They must be getting paid to bring them in. There must be money involved, right? Everything's about money. So somebody's paying them to bring in the immigrants, and they're housing them at hotels. They don't have money for the hotel. So how are they eating and how are they, living in the hotel? What's the hotel? Obviously out of business because if they're not getting revenue in, how are they heating the hotel? Who's paying the heat, the electricity, and all that shit? So this is bad news. So this is why the UK is collapsing. France is collapsing. Germany's collapsing. So Jenna goes to Berlin, and I'm like, I don't know if I really want to go there. They're not much better off than the Ukraine, except for there's no war going on there. It's an internal war. They're throwing bombs and having riots versus the Russian military bombing the Ukraine. Europe's in big trouble, and it all comes down to this is worthless. Everything comes down to this is worthless, and they're looking for money. My guess is they're getting money for bringing in these guys, the immigrants, and I don't know how they're feeding them or putting them in a hotel, the electric and the gas and the heat. Where's that coming from? Oh, we'll just print more money to pay for it. Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure your money is worthless. Another thing of buying gold and silver, you stay away from this shit. You can't go bankrupt with gold and silver. That is the beauty of gold and silver, because the reason that the euro and the dollar are worthless, they print it, and it's not backed by anything. The gold and the silver can't be printed, and you don't need it. You have it in physical form, and you're fine. And we're watching it go up and up and up. And the more of these stupid wars and protests and riots you see, the more higher and higher gold. Everybody runs to the safe haven, which is gold and silver. It's the safe haven because you can't print it, right? I can't print it, so it can't lose value, because I lose value when there's too much of it. I showed you the Eisenman card, 1 of 1. I don't know what it's worth. It's probably worth a ton. I paid $150 for it, 1997 or 1998. But how do you even value it? There's only one. You don't know what their others are selling for. So this is what you have. And so as people start waking up and realizing they're fucked, they run into gold and silver for safety, which is sort of what we're doing. But we're smart enough to realize, but asterisk, it's also going up. So our $50 silver, which we're running into for safety, is also now $100. And our gold that we bought at 1900 is now roughly 5,000 and going up. There's no signs of stopping. This will not profit take. This will not stop. There's too much demand and there's too low supply. There's no reason that this will not just keep continuing for years. Now, okay, oh, it won't get past 50. Yeah, how do you feel now? It's at 100 and there's no way it's going to 50. The next move is 150 to 200. It is not going to be, you'll never see $50 silver again. You'll never see $2,000 gold again. You're just, you're out of your mind if you think it. Or you're listening to the Peter Schiff or Jim Rickards. Well, it'll come back down. It'll adjust. It's gone too fast, too far, too fast. No, it hasn't. It's not far enough or fast enough. So that's what you really have to understand. So that I will leave you with that. Please understand things. That's why I'm very critical of myself to explain it to you. Now, do you understand what I'm explaining? I hope so. I try to do basic. The Titanic hit the iceberg, it sinks, and you go to the lifeboat to compare it with what's happening in gold and silver and the dollar now. So I'm trying to clear it so you get it, because you need to understand it and be able to explain it. So if you can explain it to your spouse or your kids or your brothers, sisters, or your coworkers, I'm in gold because of this, that's what you have. And I've always been good at explaining it. And that's really the key to it. It's the key to everything in life. Understanding your girlfriends or your wife, understanding your kids, and just going, how do you problem solve it? It's all about problem solve. We have a problem, figure out, and how do we solve it? Figure it out. Once you can do that, fine. Like I was listening, I had a hacking cold, and I watched the Dr. O'Neill, and she said, "Oh, put onions on the bottom of your feet." So I was solving the problem. I put them on, and I was healed. Took me 2 days. Took me 2 nights to put them on, and I was healed. And that's the point. I had the problem of the hacking cough. You go to the doctor, they want to give you medicine to not to fix it, just to cover it. And they don't really fix anything. So that's why I don't go to doctors. They don't, unless it's something where it's severe and you need an operation. But if it's just a checkup, I don't need that. So that's one of the things. Do I have pain? No, I feel pretty good. I eat pretty good, pretty healthy. A lot of avocados, a lot of cayenne pepper and Celtic salt and lemons and ginger and all that stuff, cinnamon. So if I eat healthy, then I am going to be healthy. You get sick when you eat a lot of sugar. So that's problem solving again. Why am I sick? I ate sugar. Why am I sneezing? Good question. I did go to Walmart last night. I probably caught it there. A lot of people. But that's what you're trying to do, is you must recognize there's a problem and problem solve it. And don't go to somebody who's just confident without standard. He can't explain it. So you need to ask people, what do you mean? And just listen to their answer. And if they dance around like a Peter Schiff, like a Jim Rickards, like a Andy Scheckman, if they dance around and don't answer it, even the alligator does that a lot. If they dance and don't answer, they don't know. And none of them know about inflation. I taught Egon basically from him listening, because now he knows it's not prices, it's money printing. So now he knows that. He got that from me. I taught him that without really teaching him. He just came out and heard what I said, yeah, that makes sense. And that's the point of it. So Uh, listen to how they answer. And if they just ring around the rosy and never give you the answer, they don't know. They're idiots. Don't listen to them. Does that work, rubbing onions on the bottom of your feet? You don't rub onions, you put the onion in. So you take the onion and you put it on the bottom of your foot and put your sock over it and you go to sleep. And yes, it works. I did it. I had Daria do it. She did it. It worked for her also. The bottom of your feet is very sensitive. And therefore, the onion's very powerful. So if you put the onion on your bottom of your foot, you put your sock on it, and you sleep on it. So it gets good 6-7 hours of the onion going into your body from the bottom of your foot. It absolutely works. You know, you get that hacking cough, the nose drains, and then you hack it out. Yeah, that it really is good for that. I'll try it on my cold. I got to see how the hot tub works first. But I'm scared to go out because it's so fucking cold out. But I like getting out. It's like it gets me out of the house and off, and I do my exercises, which I know are good for me. It's like I eat dark chocolate, and Alyssa says, I don't like the taste. I says, I'm not doing it for the taste. I'm doing it for the health. Cocoa is extremely healthy for you, just like my cinnamon, things like that. The honey, I'm eating that, and I'm avoiding sugar because it's very healthy for me. And therefore, if I'm eating healthy foods, I'm not going to get sick very often. It's just a cold. But generally, I've been very healthy. My feet have been good. My back's been fine. So you know what to avoid, I think is bad for you. So you just, like, if I have pop, I'll have like squirt or diet squirt, something that is not caffeine, like Coke and Pepsi and stuff. But yeah, that absolutely works. You get the white onion and it's just a slice, right? A little circular, put it on, put the sock on, go to sleep. Or I could wear it now after swim. And it's the onion going into the foot, the bottom of the foot, probably like the bottom of the hand. It's very sensitive and it gets into your body. So it's like taking a shot that is directly into your body, and that's what this is. So it's directly in. It just makes for a better. No, it's very healthy. So it cures it. It definitely cures it. So yeah. So I think that's about it. Anything else? Any other direction? So no, I don't think the games are fixed to a point. You can't fix it too bad. Did Caleb throw the interception so the Rams would win? I would say no. They probably wanted the Bears in and Caleb in there, and so I think he just threw a bad interception. I don't think he threw it on purpose. Maybe he did, but what would be the point of losing the game and not going to the Super Bowl? It makes zero sense. Oh, we want Stafford in there. Who cares who you want? They wanted Josh Allen, and look, Denver won that game. So no, I don't buy that. Was it a catch or an interception? Who knows? I mean, whatever they call it, interception is interception. I mean, I'm watching all these 1970 games. Yeah, whatever the ref called is what happened. They didn't cry. Oh no, you did get 2 feet in. That never came up. Even Joe Montana's the catch with Dwight Clark back in the end zone. It never, that was obvious he was in, but it never came out. Oh wait, we got to check it, review it. All that's bullshit. That is such bullshit. This whole let's review. Oh, it's close to the sideline. Is it a touchdown? And if you notice, the one thing, like if let's say the first down's the 30-yard line, and the guy gets to the 30, but they'll always mark him like the 29 and a half. They'll set up that 3rd and a half or 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, even though he clearly got the first down. And they're putting it where the knee hit. It's where the ball is when the knee hits. So if the ball is here and my knee hits, that's where you mark it, not back here. So you see a lot of that crap. But anyway, just think, if you lose, why? If you win, why? And you're trying to critical think. You're trying to problem solve. You're trying to understand why. Why does the sun come up, and why is the sky blue? And why is the dollar worthless? Why is gold and silver the best play? So you don't just accept it. You try to figure it out. And I think I do a pretty good job explaining the figure out to you, which is the whole point, especially in football and gold. The odd thing about the Cooks catch was they didn't even review it. Who's that Buffalo catch? Well, they probably did. They just saw it bobbled. I thought the ball, when he hit the ground, bobbled and the guy took it out because I didn't see a big struggle. He didn't like rip it apart when he was down. Cooks caught it, fell down, and the guy came away with the ball as if he stole it. So he's not down when he hits the ground. He's down when Cooks does it. So if he's able to rip it out, it's an interception all day. And he acted like it was an interception. So there was probably nothing to review. Or they took a quick look and said, yeah, the ball bounced. Probably what the ref saw, the ball hit and bounce up, and then the guy took it. So he probably knew. He's probably sitting there going, no, it's an interception. I'm sure it was. And Cooks probably won't be a Buffalo Bill next year. And the 3 days later, the NFL admitted the refs made the wrong call. Well, who cares? That's just bullshit. That's politics. They admitted. How could you admit it? It was the correct call, right? And in the other game, in the the Ram-Bear game, it was the same play. And Devontae Adams caught it, and the guy took it away, and yet that was a catch. So the whole catch rules are ridiculous. Just, did he catch the ball? You throw me the ball, I caught it, right? You threw me the coin, I caught it. That's it. That ends right there. I caught it. Not, did I survive the ground, and then I had a cup of coffee, and then I take 15 steps after. Did you catch the ball? It's very simple. You caught the ball. That's the end of it. The surviving the ground thing's so stupid. Anyway, it's just the rules are terrible in pro football. The kickoffs are terrible. The refs are horrible. The announcers are horrible. So it makes it very difficult to watch the game. It's sort of like when I hear a Peter Shifter and Andy Scheckman and they talk, well, inflation's only 2%. You got to turn it off now. I mean, I'm looking at videos that are trying to explain, inflation or I don't even want to watch them anymore. I already know the answer. I don't need you to tell me what happened in Nazi Germany. Yeah, they all stole the gold and silver. I get it. And there's other things, like I said, on inflation or this or that or debt or I already get it. I don't need to listen to this guy to get the answer. I already know the answer. So, and then you got to watch, you're on all these algorithms and all this bullshit. So anyway, have a good day. I'm going to have something to eat. I'm going to the bowl probably about 3ish. It's about 10 to 2. And I'm going to dress warm. I got my Spectre coat. It's a big spider with the 7 legs, and I got a hat on that. So yeah, it's cold out. So I'm going to go out soon. Anyway, have a good day. We'll be on tomorrow. We'll look. Just keep an eye on the Denver weather. It's, if it gets to 0, it's probably an under bet. Now, I've already bet it over, so I will hedge it with an under bet, a straight under bet, if it gets to 0. At 10, 12 degrees, I'm okay with. So anyway, keep that in mind. And big snow, there's not snowy here yet. I think we get it tomorrow. It's coming up from Texas. We'll see. It might miss us. It looks like it's more Ohio than us, but we'll see. And that's it. Okay, Prophet. Oh, good luck. Get a new book. That book is bullshit. So anyway, have a good day, everybody. Thanks for watching. www.teaserking.com. You'll see $150 silver soon, and we'll see the way gold went through the 4,000s. We could see 6,000 very quickly and 7,000 very quickly. So we'll see. Do not sell it unless it's for a bill you have. All right. Take care, everybody. We're not profit taking our gold and silver. All right. Have a good day. www.teaserking.com.